Also, Keemstar doesn't know anything. He knows Boogie2988 is here to bullshit him a little bit, right? Boogie2988 is a pathological liar. This is what I was talking about. He's literally like sucking Turkey Tom off right now. Like, look at Tom. Tom fucking hates Boogie2988. It's just lying. He's just lying. He's a serial liar, and he can't help it. He's a freak.
Because I have bullshitted people, like, exactly, I lied about the swatting thing. That was a very stupid thing to do, change those dates.
If you just would have fucking ignored him, Frank Castle would not have pulled up to your crib, okay? Like, Jesse's retarded. He got lucky. Jesse's... He's retarded. Do not give him any credit. Next up, we have Boogie2988 versus Turkey Tom. Now, okay, basically, Turkey Tom first uploaded a video onto YouTube, right? Basically going over the entire history of Boogie2988, going through everything he's ever done, all of his controversies, and basically also exposing him a little bit for being a bit of a liar, okay? A bit of a sussy-wussy liar. And, so yeah, through this, and Boogie wasn't too happy about that. He took to Twitter to tweet about it, of course, and he made multiple tweets calling Turkey Tom racist. He accused Turkey Tom of accusing him of faking his abuse as a child and lying about it as a child. And I mean, yeah, it was a whole big shit show until Boogie2988 actually invited Turkey Tom to come on to his show for a conversation. So that's what we're going to be reacting to today. I'm excited. Oh. And it's currently unlisted because Turkey Tom said the F slur during this and it got demonetized. So, hello, poser.
Gentlemen of YouTube, Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet, and welcome to episode 4 of my podcast.
Damn.
In this episode, I had the opportunity to sit down with one of my biggest critics here on YouTube, a member of the commentary community.
Speed up a little bit because Boogie talks a little slow.
His name is Turkey Tom, and he's made well over...
Why the fuck do you have Pornhub merch? What the hell? Okay, whatever. Okay, awesome.
dozen videos criticizing me throughout the years. Over the weekend, I reached out to Tom and asked him to do this podcast, to sit down with me and talk about his criticisms of me, the controversies I dealt with, and see if he had any advice for me about getting back on top of the YouTube game just like he is today. Due to the nature of the commentary community, I've chosen not to edit this episode at all. There's definitely some words in here and phrases in here that I might not have.
I mean, nobody would have cared if you edited out the F slur, bro. Like... I bet 0 people would have cared if you would have just edited it out. Like,
included otherwise, but I wanted to present this entire conversation.
I might edit it out because I'm monetized now, guys. If you did, yeah, I'm monetized now, which is crazy. That's crazy to think about. I never thought I'd see $1 from YouTube, but I've made like 15 so far. So yeah, that's insane.
Exactly as it happened.
Actually, I might not. I fucked up on my. I might not be monetized right now, actually, because I think I forgot to update my information. I think I'm not anymore, but I'll get on that like tomorrow or something.
For amusement. So fair warning, if you're sensitive to certain types of language or certain types of jokes, you may not feel comfortable during this episode. But for those of you who choose to stay, I think you'll learn a thing or two. So without further ado, welcome to the power.
Got the Mountain Dew for Boogie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live again through the power of the internet, and I have an episode of Power of the Internet that I think is going to be a little bit different. I have wanted to talk about my own controversies, my own rise to fame, my introduction to the internet and the problems that I've had here. And I thought, who would be the best person to do this? At some point, I thought Keemstar would be a really good choice. But obviously, I've already interviewed Keemstar on here, and I felt like having him interview me would be...
Also, Keemstar doesn't know anything. And I don't blame him for not knowing anything, right? Because Keemstar, he's involved in like every single drama. He documents every single drama. So he's... like, he would have to do extensive research before he did that interview. While Turkey Tom, on the other hand, while he covers a lot of drama, Boogie2988 is like basically his speciality, right? Turkey Tom fucking hates Boogie2988, so he knows all the Boogie lore, okay, the Boogie down lore.
Probably not that fitting. So this week, fortuitously, the man, the myth, the legend, Turkey Tom himself, who I think I was trying to count it up last night. I think you've met,
dude. Fucking. Boogie2988 is kind of glazing it right now. He's sucking Turkey Tom off when, but I mean, he really shouldn't be because Turkey Tom fucking hates him. And, I don't know, dude, this is just like some weird fucking behavior from Boogie where like, someone would be like really fucking mean to him, and then he'll just be like start sucking him off. It's like fucking. I don't know why he does that.
Made over a dozen videos about me, so I think you're fairly well versed in the lore, fairly well versed in me as a person. So I feel like you are probably the right person to ask these questions and have me answer them. And we talked a little bit before I hit the record button. I definitely don't know that you're here to hear what I have to say today as much as like confirming your beliefs, but I promise you, Tom, right here on My Dog's Life, I will give you all the truth I have and more. I will be as genuine with you in ways that I've never been genuine before, because I'm kind of tired. I'm really, yeah, like sometimes I just,
you can't help but laugh at that, right? Because like Turkey Tom is in here. He knows that Boogie2988, I've listened to this interview already, full transparency, but he knows Boogie2988 is here to bullshit him a little bit, right? Boogie2988 is a pathological liar. Turkey Tom has proven this through his extensive coverage of Boogie2988. And so he's like, he knows that Boogie2988 is here to bullshit him basically, but he's like trying to put on this facade of being like super committed to the truth and all this other bullshit, when in reality, it's just probably not true, right? It's soy.
So I have lied. And if we uncover one of those lies today, I'm more than glad to talk about what I lied about and why I lied about it. And I have no intention of lying to you today. But just for the people who are tuning in for the first time, who are unfamiliar with what you do, that's bizarre to me, because you are now, in my opinion, the largest person.
He's glazing it, dude. This is what I was talking about. He's literally like sucking Turkey Tom off right now. Like, look at Tom. Tom fucking hates Boogie2988, and he's just over here gulping his cum down his throat, dude. It's so fucking weird.
In the commentary community, you're the person I go to more frequently than anybody else. But for those of you who don't know, you give them a little bit of introduction about who you are and what you do?
I just make videos about Boogie. That's my only interest.
That's definitely something you have done for sure. But yeah. I think, but yeah, I would say you talk about a little bit of everything. You definitely talked about YouTube drama for the most part. You've delved into politics a little bit, but not too terribly much. At the beginning of your YouTube career, when you began YouTube when you were what, 15? Is that accurate?
I think I was 14. Yeah, I was pretty young.
And you're what, 21 now?
Just about, yeah.
So you're still a baby. Are there things that when you were...
So here, this is when Boogie starts to poison the well, okay? This is where Boogie is starting to poison the well. He's like, oh, you're young. Yeah, he's basically trying to convince his viewer base right now that Turkey Tom is young and he doesn't really know what he's talking about, right? He's naive. He doesn't quite understand life yet. That's the angle Boogie's going to take later in this conversation. I can already tell you.
14 that you did that you regret now, out of curiosity? Like, do you think you...
That's another thing he's going to do. He's going to go, oh, well, is there anything you did at 14 you regret? Well, exactly. I regret what I did when I was like a dumbass 20-year-old, right? When in reality, there's a big difference between being a retarded 14-year-old and being a retarded like 20-year-old, or however old Boogie was when he did a lot of these major fuck-ups, right? It's just poisoning the well and sweetening the well for him, I guess, would be the correct terminology.
Like, learned and grown as a person over the last 7 years?
Yeah, of course. Most of it was not on YouTube. Most of it was not on YouTube. But
yeah, I think that's one of my biggest mistakes, is I put everything on YouTube, like too much on YouTube. But it's been interesting watching you change.
That's actually so based. You should not put your personal life on YouTube, okay? I actually talked about this with someone the other day. I was just like, we were talking about how like people like Ghosty and how he faked his mother's death. And I was talking about how I was like, dude, I think if one of my family members even died, I wouldn't talk about it on the internet. It's just so fucking weird. Don't fucking share your personal lives on the internet. It's like, it's freak behavior, okay? That's all I've got to say.
And grow as a person. I had reconnected with you earlier in this week with your content because I was doing the iDubbbz stuff and like seeing what everybody had to say about it, and I was very interested in hearing what you had to say. And it's funny because I largely agreed with your opinion on the iDubbbz situation, but that's a whole other thing. So that's it. What kind of questions do you have for me?
So he's continuing to glaze it. He's sucking him off. Yeah, that's just what Boogie does. I shouldn't need to repeat myself.
Let's start at the very beginning. I know you made a video about me very recently. Where did you start with in that video? What was like the first controversy you talked about?
I don't know that there's a ton of questions I have because I feel like I already know that you're gonna.
He knows, dude. He's 10 steps ahead of him. Okay.
Bullshit me in this interview. I already know what happened. I guess I can retread the video if you want.
Well, there's definitely some things that you were wrong about in that video, and I can point out a few.
Okay,
but I'd rather just start at the beginning.
What was I wrong about? I'd like to start there.
Well, so you heavily implied that you did not state that some of the abuse allegations I've made, or all of the abuse allegations that I've made, are falsified. And that's probably the biggest sticking point that I really was frustrated with in the video.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you took it that way, but I don't think you...
Okay, so let's watch the clip. Let's see what Turkey Tom really said. This is his video right here, and this is what he actually said about his abuse growing up, right? And whether he faked it or not. Okay, let's see if what Boogie's saying here is true.
Digging through his more serious stories to try and find what else he may be lying about. Given he had always been very vocal about his rough childhood, some began comparing his multiple accounts of the abuse he had suffered at the hands of his parents. We can start with his mother. Despite occasionally praising her as a strong single woman who raised 3 children and took care of her invalid husband, in a Reddit comment he says the following: I've never really gone into detail. Both my father and my mother were sexual abusers who were both sexually abusive to me, along with one other family member who's still alive, so I don't feel comfortable calling them out directly. So I'll wait until one of us are dead. I've discussed it mostly on live stream and only a little bit in videos.
So, I mean, right now, Turkey Tom is establishing that, you know, through Boogie2988's accounts of his abuse as a child, there's a lot of inconsistencies. There's not a lot of things that, there's some things that just don't add up at all, right? So that's certain to raise some eyebrows, right? But he's definitely not saying he 100% definitely faked it, right? Like, that's a very clear distinction.
Sorry that I'm not comfortable going into further details. Later on, while streaming, he specifies that this sexual abuse meant molestation, but not rape.
How do I respond? My mother never raped me. My mother did molest me. She never, like, forced me to have sex with her, but she did molest me. It's a simple thing. I don't know why people are like that. What the heck?
In another, he claims his dad did rape him. In this tweet, he also claims to have been
So
raped as a kid,
stupid.
and notwithstanding, claims that some good came of it, whatever the hell that means. Then, in another tweet, he reiterates that he had indeed been raped and that he'd forgiven his rapist, which, if we're to follow the things he said so far, would be his dad, since he claimed in a tweet that his mother had never raped him. He goes as far as saying that his sister was molested by their dad, followed by the claim that his sister was gang raped in foster care. However, in a clip of his stream, he specifically says that his parents, plural, had raped him. In another of his Reddit essays, he follows the claims that he'd been raped with stories about how his mother stabbed him, his sister was almost beaten to death, his dad punching him, among other things. It's strange because, while sometimes he says things that range from suggesting to outright affirming that being raped was a common occurrence for him during his childhood, in other instances he claims it was just once. Under normal circumstances, we don't have any reason to doubt or excessively scrutinize stories of this caliber. But at this point, Boogie was raising a few eyebrows with his increasingly extreme retellings. Eventually, a more complete and precise statement of the nature of his abuse was made to Reddit. I was molested by an older sibling, female at a young age. I remember very little of it, but enough to know that this wasn't just further stuff related to my Munchausen syndrome. My mother was famous for. So
we don't need to watch anymore.
Takes my saying that she raped him. Now, keep in mind, before you doubt these claims, it's not uncommon for victims of abuse to be confused about what exactly they suffered since the memories are so traumatic. But to misremember and misspeak as extensively as Boogie did led many to believe that he brought his abuse up as a way to garner sympathy whenever he felt the need for validation. Some thought he was changing his story when it felt more convenient to get more sympathy. Now, I would never go out and say that he lied about being abused in his childhood. For all of that to be lies would be genuinely reality breaking. But there's a reason why many question his reliability as a narrator. In this,
So, I mean, there we go. He never said he faked it. He's just saying, he's bringing up a valid point that his fucking, that his accounts of this abuse have been very fucking inconsistent and not coherent at all, right? It's just, yeah, that's the point he's making. And Boogie28 is going to bring this up to try and make his audience feel bad for him and try and take his side, but it's not going to work because Turkey Tom never fucking said that, right?
I actually think that. I think that if you watch the video, which I don't know if you watched that whole portion, I don't know how much you watched. If you watched,
I find it very painful to watch these types of videos for me, especially once misinformation is put out there. And so when I see misinformation, I click it off immediately. And that's where I got to with your video. And I mostly skimmed it up to there.
There was no misinformation in the video. And if there was, you would have an easy slam dunk of a video being like, Turkey Tom lied about.
Yeah, so I mean, like, he's it's such a bullshit excuse, right? He's like, well, I would have done my research to prove you wrong, but like, it's too hard for me to, it's too triggering for me to watch the video, because there's so much information. Like, I mean, come on, dude. There's no way you can't be seeing through this bullshit right now. It's crazy.
About me, because there's plenty of people that would love to see that.
But well, I can't prove something that happened 30 years ago. The people who did it are dead.
You don't have to prove that it happened. You could just say that it's if you genuinely think that I accused you of lying about being molested or something, you could just say he accused me of lying about being molested. That's horrible. I was molested. It was. You could just say that, and you would look great to the YouTube audience. You would look amazing.
Well,
but
again,
that's not what I did in the video. In the video, I showed And even you acknowledge this, which is crazy. And it's crazy that you even say this right now. In the video, I'm like, there's a bunch of contradictions. I don't think he lied about abuse, but this was a point when people began to question, maybe he lied about other things. And I showed that in the video. But in the video itself, I explicitly state, and there was no begging the question. I state, there's no reason to think he lied about this stuff. That would be too insane, even for Boogie. And I actually have a tweet right here.
I missed that part, so I think that's great. I did not see that
I don't think you missed it because it was in the replies of your video, and you even replied to a clip of it on Twitter.
So, I mean, he's just continuing to bullshit. Oh, I missed it. I didn't see that. But, like, come on, dude. You replied to a tweet where someone said it, dude. It's so fucking obvious. It's so easy. I don't understand.
You replied to someone talking about it.
Sure.
Let me see here. You said, I will give you credit for one thing. I've been very bad at communicating my history, and I don't blame people for doubting it, including yourself. That's the best I can do. People don't have
that's true.
So that's the thing. It's like, on one hand, you accuse me of doing something I didn't do, and on the other hand, you say, well, even if you did do that, I don't blame you.
So here's my point of view. Let's take somebody like Sean Hannity, or who's the other guy that just recently got fired from
Tucker.
Fox News. Tucker, yeah. Like Tucker, all he does is ask questions, but they're very leading questions. And I find that a lot of times when I watch your video essays, they're very leading. You won't outright say that this is what I believe, but it's pretty apparent that it's what you believe and what you want your audience.
Do you have any like examples of that? I'm curious.
Well, just this. It seemed like in this particular case, you're afraid to say, I think Boogie's lying. But it seems to be
I know you lied, not about
lie.
that. I don't know you lied about that. I'd say you probably told the truth about that. But once again, in the video itself, I say I don't think you lied. You responded on Twitter publicly to a clip of me saying I don't think you lied. And now,
well, I literally had somebody come out and like, this is how that went down on Friday. The initial tweet that I saw was Turkey Tom came out and said in the video that you lied. So I was responding to them without watching the video for myself, and that's my mistake. I'm a very reactionary person.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm an idiot. I think you should know.
I mean, there we go. He admitted it, dude. It's over. We can pack it up. He's a retard. He admitted it. It's simple, dude. We got him.
That by now, if you're as steeped in lore as you are, you should know that I'm a low IQ individual with a new diverse brain.
You're relatively intelligent, but if you have like the self-awareness to know that's something you do, like you can avoid that behavior.
Yeah, it's I don't know if people really know what it's like to be as mentally ill. Do you struggle with anything that you're willing to share today? Obviously, some people want to keep this kind of private stuff private. Have you ever dealt with delusion? Have you ever dealt with that kind of thing? So I have.
I mean, he makes a good point right there where most people don't share that they're retarded online, right? Because it's easy slam dunks for people like Turkey Tom over here to just collect all their retardation and put it out there, right? Maybe just keep it to yourself, upload your gay ass skits or whatever that you do, and then you'll be fine. You don't have to deal with any of this. But I mean, obviously he's too delusional to think of that.
The majority of my life, and I think you've seen quite a bit of that on YouTube. And sure, like certainly delusions of grandeur when I was at the top of my YouTube channel. But more talking about delusions of catastrophizing and making things out to be worse than they are in my own brain and genuinely believing it. Like I convinced myself on Friday and was reacting to the reality that you had lied in that video. And all it took was one single tweet.
So
eventually,
is that why you lied about the swatting and stuff? Is that part of the delusion?
So that one we talked about a little bit. And for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, and correct me where I'm wrong, during the year of 2018 and 2019,
I mean, he's literally saying that he's too retarded to levy any valid criticisms against Turkey Tom, right? He's like, yeah, I reacted on Twitter, and it was because I was delusional. Like, it's just like the best excuse possible, right? Like, I'm too retarded to literally do anything. I need to sit at home in a diaper. It's just so fucking stupid.
I got a bunch of weaponized welfare checks. In fact, if you want to see proof of that, there's body cam footage that one of my trolls uploaded to YouTube of a weaponized welfare check happening. I'm in it, my house is in it, or no, I'm not in it. The one that got uploaded is I was gone. But I'm in it, my roommate's in it, my house is in it, my dogs are in it. You can see all of that. And it's one of several incidents that happened that year with weaponized welfare checks. And then later that year, I was DMing one of these guys from this subreddit. And I said to that subreddit that number one, I thought it was people from that subreddit that was doing that. And number two, that happened twice in the last 30 days.
So what you said is that you've been swatted, is the terminology you used.
So this is one of my biggest mistakes. Like, for example, when we talked about molestation, when I first talked about molestation, I referred to the molestation that I received as rape. Do you remember that? And I referred to it as that because I considered it to be statutory rape. But somebody quickly educated me that the proper term for what happened to me is not rape because I wasn't forcibly penetrated.
I was educated on the true dictionary definition of rape. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, just say you lied. Come on. Like, Just say you didn't know what it was. Stop. Like, you don't have to do all this nerd emoji shit, okay? It's so cringe and soy.
What happened to me was molestation. And so I had to change my story to say it was molestation, right? And this is one of those cases where I have now learned to refer to it as weaponized welfare checks because that's what it is specifically.
Okay, but so what doesn't make sense about what you're saying is that after all the drama was done and you got caught for lying about swatting, you claimed that you had intentionally fed them misinformation.
I did. I changed those dates on purpose. I knew for a fact that I had received several weaponized welfare checks in the previous years.
He's changing it again where he was like, oh, well, before I just didn't know the definition of swatting, and I know now it's a weaponized wellness check. But then Turkey Tom points out, he was like, well, no, before you tried to change the narrative and be like, well, actually, I was playing 3D chess and I fucking fooled all you. Okay, actually, I fed you wrong information. Well, it's just lying. He's just lying. He's a serial liar and he can't help it. He's a freak. Okay, that's the moral of the story. A retard freak.
And I wanted them, because I knew how they worked, I knew they would look at the police blotters. I wanted them to prove that they had happened. And I knew that they would be like, no, he didn't get swatted on these dates. He got swatted on these different dates. And
okay, so one option then
I thought it was a mastermind move. I thought I was being smart. It turns out to be a very stupid thing to do.
So you understand? So one option is that you like lied pathologically.
Sure,
which I think happened. I definitely lied there. And the other option is that you lied to make yourself look worse.
Well, what do you think I lied about? First off, I didn't lie about the weaponized welfare check.
It's so fucking stupid, dude. He's just so retarded. I can't help it, dude. He's just so fucking retarded. And Tom is like stomping on his neck right here. And it's just like, he's still glazing it, bro. He's still glazing it.
They happen.
You lied about having a secret deal with the police department during which they would not keep records.
Yeah, that was a very stupid thing.
But the thing is, like, you say that's a very stupid thing, but that ties into the whole thing. That ties into the whole situation.
Of course it does. I thought I was playing 4D chess. I was delusional. I thought I was playing 4D chess, and I'm like, I'm going to get these sons of bitches to prove that they've actually swatted me. They're going to admit it. I thought I was playing 4D chess. No, I was just making an ass out of myself. I was just being a fucking idiot. But I hope that shows you to the depths of delusion that I deal with from time to time.
Boogie is like, I imagine Boogie is always like metaphorically falling down a flight of stairs and like fucking distorting his body further as he just continues to fall, because that's how self-destructive he is. Like, he threw himself off a set of stairs, and all the way down the set of stairs, by the way, he's fucking complaining about falling down this set of stairs when he's really like he caused it himself. And then his fat body is just like contorting as he's like continually fucking rolling. And it's just making it worse and worse for himself because of how much he lies and how retarded he is.
Play out in my favor. I thought that they would, and they did. They proved that I'd been swatted several times, weaponized welfare checked several times that year. They proved it and said, look, he's wrong about the dates. He changed the dates. He lied. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit that somebody was weaponizing welfare checks, wasting the time of both the police and the rescue squads and the fire department, because they all show up during a welfare checks. I don't know. I presume it's Kiwi Farms. I presume it's Sam and
Because of your threats of suicide, someone made a legitimate welfare check to your house?
No, because they weren't vocal at that time. This was early of 2018 is when the first one happened. So no, it wasn't until a DM in 2018.
Wasn't it VidCon 2018 that you
No, it was 2019. And it was these. Yeah, it was 2019. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, I had the intention of killing myself on my birthday of July 24th, 2019.
Dude, same.
Con happened to be just before that. So I recorded like a last Francis video and got it produced, and it was Francis covering My Way. And I planned to upload that as like my goodbye, you know? And then I went to VidCon. But here's the thing, Tom, I didn't really want to die. I just wanted to not be in constant mental and physical pain all the time. And I wanted to not be suffering the way I was suffering. So I went to VidCon and I talked to every person there, and I'm like, how do I fix this problem? I've got like 4,000 people on a subreddit every day who take my words out of context, who take...
I mean, this is really sad, but like, come on, dude. It's really easy. Just log off, bro. Like, get off of the internet. Like, I could literally turn off my PC right now. All the online problems go away, okay? I don't have to think about any of it. It's just like, I never have to think about it again, right? As soon as I turn off my PC. That's literally all you have to do. You don't have to ever look at this Reddit that's like making fun of you, trolling you. You don't have to look at it. Just get offline. And if you don't give a reaction like you do every time, Boogie, then you're not going to get swatted because nobody would care. It's not funny if you don't go on stream and start like, if you don't get like ass mad, go on stream and start like raging, right? Ugh.
and like astroturf it to every potential subreddit they can until it gets voted up. I make the front page of Reddit over and over again, sometimes for legitimate mistakes, but also with like bullshit things like I abuse women or I abuse my ex-wife, and that shit fucks with me super
True
bad.
lore.
And like, how do I solve this problem? Because if I don't solve this problem, I'm going home and fucking killing myself.
Okay, so
it was a horrible.
I sympathize with you. The Sam and Tolkien thread was not amazing, but the other thing is that like every YouTuber deals with stuff like that.
I'm just not equipped for it. I'm glad that you're.
Dude, I'm really excited for when I get a schizo. You guys in chat need to get on that, okay? I need a schizo thread on me now, exposing me for being, I don't know, retarded or something. Expose me for beating women.
Equipped for that? I've never been equipped for that kind of hate. I don't know how to deal with it, and I would say that I got it at a considerably higher level than most people. I think there are definitely people.
Why do you think
like
you got it at a higher level?
Because
you're retarded.
My had the largest numbers for the most part. Oh, you mean like at random? I think part of it is my weight. I think I am extremely fat, and a lot of people have issues with that. I think a lot of it is because I'm such an incredible lolcow. I respond to everybody. I respond to everything. I find it extremely difficult to not. I mean, hell, I'm doing this interview with you, and this is probably career suicide, right? But I'm going to do it anyway because I hope it helps and entertains and educates people. And also, even though I know it's a bad idea, I'm incapable of stopping myself. Like several people have told me not to do this. And on top of that, I've definitely made some stupid mistakes and said some really stupid
I seriously
shit.
don't understand why you're doing it. You have no like benefit to talking to me.
There's three reasons, really. This is how I justified it. Oh, one second, my puppy needs it. Here's how I justified it in my mind. Hopefully it can give you an idea of my delusions. Number one, in my mind, I like Turkey Tom. I don't like everything you've done. I don't like everything you said. Same thing I said about iDubbbz. Same thing I'll say about Ethan Klein. Same thing I'll say about everybody. But there are parts about your content that I like, and I think I like you as a person for the most part. Though I don't know you that well, right?
The other day, you
like, dude, keep in mind, Turkey Tom is like constantly just kneeled on fucking Boogie2988's neck. Like, Turkey Tom has literally fucking set Boogie298 on fire, fucking cooked his ass, fucking he's killed Boogie298 like on 12 separate occasions. And Boogie is still trying to win him over. He just wants it to stop. He's like, Turkey Tom, you know, I really like you. Please stop making fun of me on twitter.com. Like, it's so sad. I don't know how anyone can fucking respect this guy. It's fucking revolting, honestly. Ugh, fuck.
Called me like a racist on Twitter. You claim that I lied.
Oh, yeah, you definitely said some racist shit. And you, yeah.
But you have too.
So here's one of my worst issues. The worse a person treats me, the more I want to convince them they're wrong.
Yeah, because you want them to stop making fun of you. Like,
why I'm wired like that, I don't know. It's really weird. It's the same reason I befriended Keemstar. That's why I went to London and risked my life. Because you said racist shit, and it was racist.
But you said racist stuff too.
Yeah, but I think you said in that one set of screenshots
dude,
more.
Can we find the fucking clip? Hold on. I really want to find there's a really funny Boogie clip I want to find. Boogie to God damn it. I hope I can find it. Fuck. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. Unfortunate, dude. Alright, whatever.
Piece of shit that I've said in the last 20 years.
That's definitely not true.
I made a joke about people of color being broke because I thought historically people of color in this nation have not been given the opportunity to build wealth, and I thought people would get that joke.
Yeah, that's really why you were saying that, or just because you thought it was a funny racist joke, Boogie? There was a great,
that's what was going.
There was a great joke about like institutionalized oppression, and
so yeah, dude, that's such cope. He's like, well, actually, he's lying again, dude. He's like, well, actually, in the moment, he was again playing 4D chess, and actually, I was making a really good, detailed dialogue on institutional racism, and you know, it was a really deep joke. It's just not a lot of people got it. You know, it's like.
Do you know the history? Do you know the history of that moment? Other than the clip, do you know the context of that clip? Out of curiosity. I have a friend named Kelsey, who would donate to my live stream every time I live stream, 5 nights a week almost, and he.
Yeah, dude. Kelsey was a slave. He made sure Kelsey was donating every live stream, dude.
Had a username called Sparkle Dump, and he would always donate with the message, "I'm a black person," and I would try to riff on that every time. And like the first time,
Yeah, I would try to make fun of him for being black every time. But Tom, you're the real racist here, okay? You are you're really racist, and you need to feel bad about it.
he did, I
So
said
you
something
made a
like,
joke. So you made a joke.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, so
this
stay
context
black
doesn't
and-
change anything. I'm not saying you're
Right.
racist. I'm saying you
Stay-
made a joke. I'm saying it's ridiculous for you to call me racist. When I have people from other Boogie accounts combing through your old internet shit to find you saying even
Are
more
you
racist stuff
racist?
about
That's
black
out of
girls.
curiosity. Are you racist?
Am I racist?
Yeah. Like, do you dislike people of color?
No.
Do you think less?
No.
Do you think less of Jewish people?
No.
Why do you feel comfortable making those jokes? Because I've made maybe 4 of those
Jesus
jokes in
Christ.
20 years, and I feel
No,
very
you fucking
uncomfortable having
haven't.
made them.
No, you
No, I have.
have not.
You can count them.
Dude, you
Literally.
claim to be a 4chan guy. You went on fucking the beta podcast. You were like, I said
4chan.
fag this, fag that.
Actually, I will tell you. So let's be
There was the slur, guys. Clip it. He said a slur. Clip it.
honest about that. I'll kind of have to blur that. But
Yeah, you could have blurred it.
so I grew up on Sam Kinison, Lenny Bruce. I still watch Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle to this day. I watch you. I watched old school.
Okay, so you understand people like to make
consume.
jokes.
Yeah, of course.
So why
So
the
I'm-
fuck are you mad at me for shit I said in private on Discord, Boogie?
I just thought you called me racist in that video, so calling you racist.
I
on
didn't
Twitter
call you
seems
racist
fair.
in the video.
Did you not bring up like old racist clips in that video
No,
or something like
no,
that?
no.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that's what I thought you did. See, again, I'm functioning on my limited capacity of brain power.
Don't you think you
I
should
thought
like get off
did.
the internet then?
Probably not. It's my only income.
Dude, where did he even get that? He was like, "Duh, one person said you said you called me racist in your video, so I believed it." Duh, like, God, it unironically pisses me off how fucking retarded this person is, dude. I'm sorry. It fills me with unequivocal rage, dude.
I'm a disabled man. I don't really know what else I could possibly do to earn a living. So this is the only thing I feel like I,
I mean,
can
you,
do.
you could like get like an IT job or something, like normal.
I'm not qualified for it, and I definitely don't have the mental health to hold down a job. I've tried for sure. I barely function as a YouTuber, and this is one of the easiest jobs I think there is to have.
Don't you
So
think
can
you
you
could
imagine?
like improve your life in some way? Like you're totally defeatist about this. You could like, I don't know, go to the gym.
Oh, I go to the gym. I just joined a new gym this last week. The problem is, I don't know if you know. Have you ever been morbidly obese, Tom? I don't know. I imagine you have not had any weight.
These questions are so funny. Have you ever been morbidly obese? Are you racist, Tom? Do you think less of people of color? Do you hate Jewish people, Turkey Tom?
Issues?
No.
Okay. If you've never been morbidly obese, you may not know this, but the majority of weight loss has very little to do with exercise, and mostly about controlling your diet. In any
So do
doctor will
that.
tell
So
you
do that.
And that's where, again, I don't think people.
As he's like, I saw it earlier. He's drinking a fucking Mountain Dew while he's telling him about the importance of diet and weight loss. And I'm a skinny mofo. Okay, I get to have my Mountain Dew. Fatty2988 though, however, does not.
Understand my level of addiction, my level of mental illness. I have a lot of trouble controlling the things I do. I have a lot of
But
trouble
these are things that
controlling
you
the
can
things
you
I
can overcome. You don't just have to accept them for what they are. Like you
right,
you
and
seem-
I work
you
on them
seem-
every day. I'm in therapy again right now. I just got back into it after this fight because I
But
knew I was going to need
therapy
it.
is clearly not enough. Like you're like my dad's age, and you're totally defeatist about this.
Yeah. But did your dad go through the things that I went through? Do you think? You know,
Probably not. No.
Yeah. And so I think that's one of the biggest issues is my brain is like a jumbled wire of it's just a fucking mess, man. And it's difficult to function.
But you know this. You know this about
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, and I think I do a pretty goddamn good job. I think someone with my experiences, with my body, still being alive at 48, that alone is a triumph. So many people that I loved and respected that have been my size have already died by the time they're this age. John Candy, Ralphie May, so many incredibly much more intelligent and talented people than I ever was, right? I've outlived them all, and that sucks.
Doesn't that
Because
give you
they-
the inspiration though? Like you could change your lifestyle, change your diet. Like
But I have. Like, I've lost 200 pounds in the last 5 years and kept it off, and I'm really proud of it.
But he didn't lose 200 pounds, by the way. He fucking had liposuction. There's, and I mean, in fairness, he kept it off. But like, come on, dude, you can't be like, yeah, I lost all that weight. No, you didn't.
Of that. I've gotten therapy. I've done psychedelics. I'm communicating with you here. I have the intelligence and the capacity to be able to sit down and have this conversation with you. And I think it's pretty damn cool. I'm actually really proud of what I've accomplished. I think it's insane that I was able to be on the internet for 20 years. I think it's insane that I was able to entertain people for as long as I have. I think it's insane that I've earned 1 billion views on the platform and people were either entertained or inspired by that. And I'm actually really proud of that. And so I think there's 2 different ways to look at it. I can look at my life as a lot of people think I do. Oh, poor pity me. I'm just going to sit on my ass and not try to do anything and not try to accomplish it. I can do what I do every day, which is try to control what I eat, try to control this brain, try to control this body, see my doctor, hit the
I mean, he's not doing a good job though, right? Like, he's like, oh, I'm trying really hard, but like, come on, you're not trying hard enough, bro. Like, if it's really that much of a temptation and a struggle for you, why even buy fucking shitty food? Like, have someone else buy your food. You're rich enough where like you could arrange something like that where someone else buys your food, and there's no temptation at all. You just have to eat whatever healthy shit is left around your house. Like, you know.
Gym, make a YouTube content, live stream, interview Tom Dark, and I'm actually really proud that I choose.
It is like,
to
I mean,
do
you
that.
were offered a job at Meta PCs, and
well, no, I wasn't. That was a bit. You know, that was a bit. Like, ask Zach right now. I was never offered a job. That was a bit. They sponsored. They're one of my sponsors. No, it was definitely a bit. It's another one of those L's that you guys have to take because Zach will tell you right now. Because you guys are so convinced I lied about that one too.
I just asked you about it.
Oh, okay. Well, so many people are. You might not have been.
That's an L you guys have. It's not an L he has to take. It's you have a history of lying, and then you did it. You did a joke, a troll, where you pretended to be offered a job when you weren't really. It's like, what is he supposed to think? It's right. And you admit in this interview that you've lied a lot, right? So it's not. It's really not. It's not unreasonable to think that you're fucking lying again, dude. Like it's so fucking simple. It's like 2 + 2 = 4. All right.
You might not have been convinced that it was an actual offer, and you might have just been trolling.
I thought it might have been. I was curious.
Well, it wasn't. It was a bit. It was they've been a sponsor of mine now for 2 years, and we were just trying to sell PCs. But yeah, I mean, I know for a fact, and I think anybody who's watched me on YouTube would know for a fact, I'm pretty much unhireable, man. I don't know what job can you break down in tears in the middle of? What job can you show up and not be able to stand up for more than 3 minutes?
Well, let's talk about YouTube then. Have you thought about changing your content? Because clearly, whatever you're doing right now is not really getting the numbers, right?
Well, so I did a shift after. I like vlogging, and I haven't been doing much of it. So my friend Michael, kid behind the camera, took me under his wing, and we made some vlogs, and they did pretty well. And so I'm trying to learn to do what he does, and without all the clickbaiting and all of that stuff. And I also really like travel content. So I actually made the announcement today on Twitter that I think.
So instead of improving my content, actually all I want to do is spend a bunch of money, go all over the world, and upload it to YouTube as like, like come on, dude. No, what Boogie2988 actually needs to do is fucking make some good videos, like upload some actually good content. It'll get him views. Then he can make money, and then he can actually go on like a vacation where he doesn't even need. Vlogging is optional, right? He doesn't have to vlog it. Like that's the path he should be going down. But no, Boogie is like too fat and stupid to realize.
I think what I'm going to do with this fight money when it comes in is invest in getting out there more, doing more, and filming those experiences because people seem to be enjoying it. Somebody on my comment thread called it comfy content, and I like it. But here's the thing: I will never be able to.
Do I produce comfy content, guys? Am I your comfort creator?
compete with the likes of you. The amount of editing, I don't have the skill or the talent. Nor the patience nor the time.
But what I have isn't skill or talent. Like I just put the time in.
Yeah, I spend so much time in my day.
Why did Boogie enlist this conversation? I talked about this earlier, but it's just because at one point Turkey Tom said the F slur. And it got demonetized, so he just unlisted it, and he's gonna upload it where he like bleeped the F slur, right? But what Boogie2988 is saying right now, where he's like, "Oh, I can't edit like you. I could never do that. It's too hard." Like it's just, yes, you could, bro. There's infinite editing tutorials on YouTube, and you could learn it in like an afternoon if you really dedicated yourself for like one afternoon. You could make a pretty well edited video. It's not like a super hard thing to learn. Oh fuck. It's not a super it's just stupid, right? Stupid easy.
Seeing doctors, trying to control this brain, trying to control this body, trying to control these emotions. I don't have you made an hour-long video about me. Out of curiosity, how many hours do you think that took you? And I presume you have an editor. So you and your editor, editing, filming, scripting, writing, research. How many hours do you think that took you? That one video?
Combined, I don't know, a lot, like 50 maybe.
50 hours? That's insane. I don't have the patience. My current therapist thinks I'm dealing with ADHD.
I mean, okay, how long was his video though? Like an hour and a half, I think, of where it's highly edited. It's just lots of information dump that needs to go into it, lots of research. And I mean, you don't have to make an hour and a half long video. Just make like a shorter video. I don't know. Like it cannot be that hard.
I don't know that I'll ever get tested for it, but I do know that my brain works very similar to that. I have difficulty setting and doing anything for an hour. I have difficulty setting for an hour because of my back pain, much less setting in a chair slumped over.
Has thinking about this stuff throughout your life, has it helped you a lot?
What do you mean, like therapy or like talking about the stuff, or exactly what
Well,
do you mean?
well, no. When I was talking to you, you were like, "Well, I don't have time to do what you do," and I say, "Well, how is that?" You say, "Well, I have to see doctors, I have to see a therapist, and then I have to spend
Ugh.
time controlling this brain or controlling this body."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do?
Probably piss.
And then,
Shower.
right. Well, I piss and shower. And then I spend the first 2 or 3 hours of my day
Dude.
trying to not hate being alive, trying
I doubt it. I doubt it.
to get myself out of physical pain, trying to get myself out of mental pain so that I can put on a smile for my friends, for my audience, for the people that care, for the people at the gas station when I go get gas.
Bro, oh my God. Imagine waking up in the morning. You got to spend 2 hours just like sitting there, like thinking about, like preparing for the day you're about to have. Well, it's just like a normal ass day. Like you could have the easiest day ever, but you got to spend 2 hours preparing. Just get up and fucking do something. Like get up and make breakfast. Get your mind off it, dude. I don't know. I couldn't live like this.
Pharmacy when I go get my meds.
But is that time like ruminating on that ever like changed your life for the better?
Like I had to stop watching TikTok in the morning because I would just sit in bed for hours, like watching TikTok instead of getting ready in the morning, and that's a bad habit. That's a really bad habit. So like as soon as I get up, as soon as my alarm wakes up, I have to like force myself to jump out of bed and get in the shower. Right? It's simple.
Yes, because otherwise I will make it similar to the catastrophic mistakes I've made on YouTube. I'll make those catastrophic mistakes at the gas station, at the pharmacy with a friend. I have to spend that time meditating. I mean, for all lack of a better term, meditating and learning to get my brain into a functioning mode. It takes effort. It takes time. It sucks, but that's what it is. You know what I got up today at 10 a.m. Do you know what I've done today? I've done nothing but prepare for this interview so that I would not lose my emotions. I wouldn't.
Jesus, come on, dude. You got up at 10 and you've just been like sitting in a room like dreading doing the interview. Don't do the interview then. Come on, like, have some fucking agency in your own life. Don't do the interview then. Don't do it.
Cry in front of you. I wouldn't lose my temper in front of you. I have literally played a handful of video games. I talked to my girlfriend. I played with my dogs. I did all of these things so that I would be in the right headspace for this interview, so I wouldn't make a complete and utter ass out of myself. And that's I will spend the rest of this night ruminating over what we talked about here, beating myself up and trying not to have a meltdown on Twitter, because that's just how my brain works for whatever reason. I don't know why it is the way that it is, but that's the brain I live in. You know, it sucks. Yeah. But yeah, so to go back to some of the things that I've lied about in the past, one of the things I wanted to bring up, you are convinced, and you made a video, and we talked about this prior, that I have alt accounts on Twitter and I pretend to like my own tweets, or pretend to be a girl that likes me or something like that. I skimmed through the video.
Dude, just like me for real, guys. If you didn't know, I have like 15 alt accounts on Twitter, and every time if I ever post a selfie of myself, I just reply to I reply to myself being like, "Oh, you're so hot." Like everyone does that, right, guys? I mean, come on.
So I don't know
if you do right now, but you did, I think.
No, I never did. And it's so interesting because they were doing it so badly. Why would I continue to do it the first time I got called out if I was doing it? And why would I do it so badly? Why would I do it at all?
You do almost everything badly. Why would you continue to do anything? Like you're totally masochistic about it. It seems like if someone calls you out for something, you almost are tempted to just do it forever.
Yeah, well, it depends. Give me an example of something you think that's
that.
I didn't.
Or like with the SWAT, or you can say you didn't. Or like we'll just go back to the swatting thing. That's a super easy thing. Instead of just like copying to it right away and being like, actually, I was talking about these dates. Instead, you made up a lie about having a secret deal with a police station wherein they would hide evidence that there were people coming up. Okay, but that's not.
Dude, that's not delusional. That's like fucking. You're lying. That's pathological lying. It'd be delusional if you actually fucking believed that was a thing, right?
That's not delusion. You lied about that.
Yeah, dude, that's also true. All my alt accounts on Twitter are dedicated to sending hate to all my enemies. I have 50 alt accounts, and every time one of my enemies posts something, I just reply with like 50 slurs.
I convinced myself that lying about that would give me the best possible result.
Okay, so that's an example of during which you had an easy out and instead you took the wrong path, clearly. And that's the same thing with the alt accounts. Why would you do it so poorly? Well, you like to do things poorly. Why would you keep doing it after you got called out? Because you love to do everything after you get called out. When you get called out for fence sitting, you immediately start arguing about how you're not a fence sitter, and then you are a fence sitter, and then you're not one.
Well, so I do think this is a perfect example.
Boogie, just to beat the fence-sitting allegations, he just needs to state his opinion on Jewish people, okay? He would own all the people saying he's a fence-sitter if only he stated his opinion on Jewish people. It'd be over.
What I was talking about earlier. I'm very bad at communicating. I don't know if it's the way my brain is wired. I don't know if it's autism. I have a very difficult time understanding how other people are going to take things when I say them.
Dude, his ass is not beating the autism allegations. Okay, I'm just gonna say that.
And then I don't have very good control of filtering myself. Those are two bad things I'm very bad at, and they ultimately come out as a horrible combination of things to have, right? Especially in this sphere that we're in. And so like, because I have bullshitted people, like exactly, I lied about the swatting thing. That was a very stupid thing to do. To change those dates was a dumb fucking thing to do. And because I lied there and I got caught in the lie, I understand why you don't believe me on the alt accounts thing. There's no way that I can convince you otherwise. I can't find out who actually was doing that. I can't prove to you that they did it. I can't prove to you where I was when I did it. And so one of the biggest issues
is also with the hacking thing. You claim that your Twitter account was hacked, and it
did. That actually happened. I immediately went to a second account and was tweeting from it the whole time. Why would I go to a second account and tweet from it the whole time? To make it look
real. Obviously.
I love the credit that you're giving me here, and that's amazing that you think I'm that level of mastermind. But it's not a
mastermind thing. It's the most simple thing you would do, and you say you wouldn't do it, and then you just admitted to me that during the swatting thing, you at least admit that you lied about the deal with the police.
Right. Well, I will admit about the things that I did.
So you make one lie to cover up another lie.
Right. I will admit about the things that I lied about. Absolutely, but I can't admit to these.
No, he's gonna admit to the lies he made that he got caught in. You know, he's like every lie he got caught in, he's admitted to lying, but he is not admitted to lying about one thing where like it hasn't been proven, right? Like it's just a very weird trend I've been noticing.
Thanks, because I didn't do them.
Well,
I got hacked. That's
you'll
the
say you
reality.
didn't do them right now because I don't have the evidence to.
Well, no, I stood by them the whole time, and you'll never have evidence because you might find evidence that you can mislead.
I mean, you don't have the evidence, so I actually didn't lie. And if you do have the evidence, then well, I lied.
Others with to think that you're
no,
right.
I mean, for example,
but there is no evidence
with the hacking thing. You were like, it happened through this mob crush thing, and then mob crush tweets out, no, it actually wasn't that.
Well, no, that was just my best.
And then if you take a look at what they actually did during the hacking, think about it. If I'm a hater who wants to hack you,
right?
Why would I not leak anything?
I think the same reason they created the Twitter accounts that you're talking about, and they did it in the way that they did it because they want me to look bad. I think they want me to look incompetent.
Way more from leaking your messages.
There was nothing to leak.
There definitely everyone's.
No, there really isn't. Like I'll give you access to my Twitter account. There's nothing to leak. There's nothing interesting there. There's nothing interesting there.
Give me access to your Twitter account, Boogie. Okay, Turkey Tom said no. I want access. I want in. Let me in, bruh. I want to see all your DMs. I want to know all your dirty little secrets, okay?
They got into my Twitter account. They're not going to find anything interesting.
So you think they looked around, they were like, oh, there's actually nothing. Boogie's a good guy, and then they left.
Well, I mean, no.
His biggest hater, dude. They just left. It's awesome.
Just think they were probably very disappointed to find nothing there.
You don't think it would have taken more time to go through all your messages?
Well, I mean, they had over a week. I was locked out of my account for over a week. I literally had to have a brand sponsor reach out to another creator who knew somebody at Twitter to get the account back because they changed the recovery information immediately.
Why doesn't he just? It should be so easy to just show those DMs then, right? Like, if supposedly you DM'd with a brand sponsor and then they reach to this other person, like you're willing to leak all these DMs, leak those DMs then, and then you could totally own Turkey Tom on Twitter because like it should be so easy. Let me look at them bookmarks, Boogie. Let me look at them bookmarks.
They had a week and a half to go through it. There's nothing there to find. I'm a really boring person for the most part. But in the things that I'm not boring in, like for example, I have somebody I've been dating for the last 7 months. I don't leave a paper trail. I don't follow her on any social media accounts. I don't take photos with her. I don't even really go anywhere.
I mean, credit where credit's due. It seems he learned. Okay, he learned to keep his online life and private life a little separate, at least with this newest partner, where he's not railing her on the timeline. Okay, that's at least a positive. Okay, I award 1 point to Boogie.
In public with her because that's something people would genuinely be interested in. And I'm afraid of her getting hurt. I'm afraid of her getting attacked like so many of the women I dated in the past. So we just keep it entirely invisible.
Dude,
and so I've always known that there's a chance people get into my Twitter account. There's always a chance that people get into emails. So I don't do anything there that's remotely interesting. If you get into any of my accounts, you're be bored out of your fucking mind.
You used to do it on your websites. You used to write all this like vile shit about, because you ran like a porn blog.
Oh, I did, yeah. So for those of you who don't know that, back in the 90s, again, I was disabled. I was having a lot of difficulty finding income. So I built my own income the same way I did with YouTube. And originally, I was just doing web design.
And porn.
I taught myself HTML and also took a class on it. and then learned a little bit of MySQL, and then used that to eventually do what brought real money in, which is designing websites for porn people. And then I started working with like a lot of individual girls back at the time, designing their websites for them, even short content, photos and stuff with them. And keep in mind, when I say content, I'm not talking like Pornhub level of stuff. It was all R-rated stuff back in the day. It was really difficult to get footage developed back then.
So without getting too deep down this rabbit hole, you know what I'm saying though? Like you're not super into curating your public image because you've done stuff like this in the past.
Well, that was in the 90s. So no, I was not.
You say
very
that's in the 90s, but then
curating.
you go on debated podcasts and talk about how you used to be on 4chan all the time, which obviously if you don't want people to know that, you wouldn't say it. But that obviously
well, so I read
being part of
4chan.
certain
I very
culture.
rarely ever posted 4chan on 4chan. But when I did post on 4chan, I'll tell you one of the most interesting lessons I've learned in life. So like I said, I grew up on Sam Kinison, Dave Chappelle, even Lenny Bruce. I've listened to some Lenny Bruce, and that guy was fucking vile for purpose, but still. I watched old iDubbbz. I watched old you. I've seen, some of the messed up stuff that creators have said, right? And I know that you guys didn't mean it. And
I mean it, dude.
So one of the craziest things that ever happened to me on 4chan is I would read like poll every once in a while, but I was mostly on random. And the people that were posting stuff there, I thought they didn't mean it. And ultimately, when I left 4chan in 2012 was probably the last time I posted there, but I genuinely left it in like 2008.
So I thought on Baited, you were like, I was a huge 4chan head. I was saying like F-slur this, F-slur that, like.
Oh yeah, no, I grew up saying the F word all the time.
You said it on 4chan and you were like a big time poster, I thought.
No, I'm much more of a reader.
I might have on that podcast.
I don't think I would because it wouldn't be true. But then like a lot of times I have been embellisher. I've been
I don't think I said it, but I'm so much of a retard liar that I might have actually. So come on, dude.
Embellisher to tell a good story. I'm a good storyteller, and sometimes that requires embellishment. So I might have for the purposes of a story. For example, like another thing I just straight up lied about was on the PKA podcast, and I was talking about defending my girlfriend. And what it really came down to is just like a nerd at the magic shop saying some shit to my wife, right? And me telling him to leave him alone. But I embellished the story to where it's like I got up in his face and told him to go fuck himself, and he knew when he took one look at me. I've embellished stories like that for sure. And it's one of my biggest mistakes is that I never really thought about the consequences of somebody being like, well, I bet you were actually just sitting in your chair telling the guy to stop being an asshole. I never thought, like, it's just a story. I'm just storytelling. So I might have in that situation, but no, I didn't post on 4chan. I was more of a reader for the most part. But that's not to say, I mean, I think the thing that you're getting at is, have I made racist jokes in the past? Absolutely. Have I said things like retarded? I still use the word retarded now because I am retarded. I am neurodivergent.
I am tarded. I am neurodivergent. Boogie2988, dude. Famous quotes, epic quotes from Boogie2988. It's just the jokes write themselves, right? And I pointed this out the other day, actually. Neurodivergent is like the most underrated insult of all time, okay? It's really funny to call people neurodivergent. And I think we need to do it more.
Did I say FAGGOT back in the day? I absolutely did. And we'd say it about everything. On the football team, for example, or in band. This was an FAG, and you're an FAG, and we're both FAGs. You would say that about everybody, but the gay kid.
It makes a lot of sense that Boogie was in band, actually. I'm not going to lie.
If you said that shit to the gay kid, we'll fucking curb stomp your ass, right? Nobody actually says that to the gay kid. That's a fucking slur when you use it that way, right?
Okay. Dude, Boogie was not curb stomping nobody, okay? I'm just going to say that.
So because of that, if you understand the context of jokes, why did it bother you so much to the point that you felt the need to, I think you deleted the tweet now, but you tweeted, you were like, here's Turkey Tom, by the way, with like a
because I thought you were calling me out on being racist, so I was like, I'm going to call him out on the same thing. Yeah.
But why would you ever think that?
Because I thought it was hypocritical to call me out on making racist jokes if you've made racist jokes.
But where did you get the understanding that I called you out for being racist?
Delusion. I literally went back into my old habits on Friday and built all of this up in my head.
I made it up in my head that you call me racist, so I called you racist. It's like, yeah, come on, dude. You can't make this shit up, bro. That's wild.
That doesn't even make sense with the tweets. You were saying in the tweets, you were like, well, I promise you, I and we are not okay with what Tom said. Many creators would be ashamed. It's like something to that effect.
I to be honest with you, and this is my opinion, I try not to say things like that anymore. And I make a pretty strong effort to not say things like this anymore. But I will admit, from time to time,
those DMs are from like
and the reason,
2018.
Yeah, hold on, I agree. But what I'm saying is, I think I have learned why I choose not to say those words anymore. There's a story. If you're familiar with Bob Saget, he had a podcast before he was murdered.
I know who he is.
Yeah, and there's a podcast episode. I made a video about this. BJ Novak had a joke that he liked to tell that he can't tell anymore, and I'm going to repeat the joke here.
Dude, no, don't repeat it.
I'll probably get canceled, but it is a joke, so keep in mind. But the joke is that BJ Novak would be on stage in the middle of a set. He would say, "We need a new Hitler. We need a new Hitler for healthcare, a new Hitler for education." a new Hitler for climate control. And if he has a few answers to the Jewish problem, maybe we should hear him out, right? And that's horribly awful, horrible, offensive joke. And the entire thing is BJ Novak is Jewish, so you know he doesn't mean it, right? The reason he doesn't tell that joke anymore is because people in the audience might agree with him these days. That's why I think you don't tell those jokes anymore. Certainly why I don't tell those jokes anymore is because there's people in the...
That's not, dude, you don't tell those jokes so you don't get banned, okay? That's why you don't tell those jokes. That's the only reason. It's not because there's going to be potentially people in the audience that fucking agree with you, right? If there's some retard in the audience that doesn't realize it's a joke and they think you're being for real, then like that's their own fucking fault. That's not on you. It's not your fault that like some mentally challenged retard is in the audience, like actually agreeing with you, not realizing it's a joke, right? I don't know. It's ridiculous.
The audience who might think
I think there could always be someone that would think that you mean it.
Yeah, and that's why I just choose not to risk it.
But don't you think that was the case back then?
I can be funny without it. And so I try to be funny.
Do you think that was the case back then too, though?
No. I'm an old man. I know you're only 20, but I can assure you that there's a period of time where the vast majority...
Dude, he's an old man, so he knows, okay? He has the knowledge and the wisdom, dude.
No one
knew that a comedian...
And he just switches constantly, right? He's like, oh, I'm too delusional to know anything. I'm retarded. And then he automatically switches, oh, I'm an old man. I'm wise. I know more than you, right? It's just... Come on.
The comedian was just telling jokes. I'm sure there's like...
Day, the vast majority of people do know that. That's why Louis C.K. and Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan are popular, because like people think it's a joke. They're not popular because neo-Nazis
I would disagree, because we've seen a rise of neo-Nazis who mean it. I mean, you remember I live in Arkansas. I live less than 100 miles from the home of the Klan. They live up in Harrison,
you
100
think
miles
popular
from my door.
because neo-Nazis like them. That's why they're popular.
No, not why they're popular, but it's why it's dangerous for them to make those types of jokes.
Neo-Nazis
it's why it's dangerous for you to make
have
those
always
jokes.
existed, though.
Yeah, but they're really on the rise right now. They didn't exist in this exact same way back in 2000.
Are they really?
It seems like it based on my personal experiences, but I can't say for sure.
I think it's just the internet.
Yeah, I think the internet allows...
It's not reflective of real life.
I think internet...
obviously, it's a vocal minority, right? If I don't have like any data or anything to back this up, but I would just imagine, right, that the neo-Nazi population has probably stayed around the same, like percentage-wise. It just looks like more because they can all conjugate in like one area, right, through the internet. When in reality, there's probably like still like a very low population, right? And it's really not that. I doubt it's that big of a problem. If it really was that big of a problem, like there was a huge neo-Nazi population, then like we would see a lot more deaths probably from like just like minorities, right? Like I'm not talking about cops or anything, but like just like you know what I mean.
Allows neo-Nazis to communicate one another and organize one another, and that's how you get these marches. That's how you get these groups doing what they do.
It's a march with like 300 people.
I think 300 Nazis is still something to worry about. I don't know about you, but I don't like having one Nazi in my fucking country. So when I get to up to 300, I get pretty fucking concerned.
Okay, if there's 300 people that march, and there's 365 million people in the country, that means it's 1 in every million person is a Nazi. That's pretty good.
I'm 1 in a million, baby.
Well, I think it always comes down to personal choice, right? Like you might choose to go to your YouTube channel tomorrow and inward this and inward that, and Dave Chappelle can talk about trans people and Louis C.K. Right?
It's because now it's like not socially acceptable like it was back in 20.
Yeah, I mean, if I went on my channel tomorrow and I said N-word this, N-word that, I'd get banned. Okay, it might be really funny, but I'd get banned and I'd cry. Okay, that's just how the cookie crumbles.
16, 17, and now the advertisers are not as forgiving of stuff like that. So do you think that's the real reason?
But again, no, I think. Are you saying that the only reason you don't make those jokes anymore on your YouTube channel is because you won't get paid if you do? Is that what you're?
That's certainly part of it.
Putting together. That's interesting. I don't make those, and that's entirely up to you, right? Like I'm not here to judge you or anybody else.
223 on my
choose not to make those jokes because, well, it's kind of one of the reasons I gave up on my Francis character. If you remember that, if people don't know, I used to do a character called Francis, where at 600 pounds, I would pretend to like abuse my sister character and like throw shit at her and break TVs and do all of that shit. And I went to a convention circa 2015, 2016, and I was meeting people that liked the character not because he was the asshole, but because they represented them. They liked him because he was an asshole. They weren't there to make fun of the asshole. They liked that I was being an asshole. They thought I was actually that asshole.
Dude, he's just like me for real. Like I mean, who cares? Who cares if there's like a couple retards who like relate to your Francis character, right? Like that's such a minority, and like if you... It's like people. It's like that's like saying South Park is responsible if people relate to Eric Cartman, right? It's so fucking stupid.
asshole. And so it really gave me pause. It's the same people who tuned into The Sopranos and rooted for Tony Soprano, the same people that tuned into Rick and Morty and root for Rick.
Yeah, who's doing that, dude? Nobody's fucking doing that. If you have like 2 brain cells to rub together, then that's not happening.
Or people that watched Breaking Bad and right to the end they were rooting for Walter White.
And they thought that you were actually.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times to this day I will still get people saying like, "Oh, you've changed your voice. Good job." Like that was never my voice, man. But the thing is, that's the only content they've ever seen. I think one of the reasons I have a question about your video. Did you put in the abuse allegations from back in 2017? Did you include those in your video?
I don't think. Well,
there was a girl by the name of Lucy Fox, and she said that was emotionally abusive to her and stuff like that.
She said that. I didn't say that you were.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about that for a second.
Can we
I think
talk
one of the
about it in
reasons.
1 sec? I just want to piss, but.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Like for example, the abuse allegations that were levied.
Dude, why'd he cut that, dude? That's so sus, dude. Why'd he cut that?
Against me back in 2017. Did you include that in your video? That there was a girl that abused me, being emotionally abusive and stuff.
Accused you of that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the reasons it was so easy for people to believe that, and I've seen this comment, people saying, I've seen videos of you abusing your wife because they confused me for the character that I played. They think that the footage of me throwing Pokemon dolls at my wife playing the sister.
Dude, those people who think that though are retarded. They don't matter. They're actually like mongoloid bottom feeder fucking like they're retarded. Like I don't understand how Boogie doesn't understand this. It's like they're unironically less intelligent than him. They're like subhuman at that point if they actually believe that you're abusive. Like you shouldn't even look at those people. They're so fucking disgusting. Bottom tier shoe people, right? I don't know how Boogie takes anything like retards like that say. Like you shouldn't even think about those people.
Character was me actually abusing her.
I mean,
so I think that's
I'm
one
sure
of the reasons
a small portion of the audience did think that, but that's ultimately like those people are forgotten now.
Yeah, I mean, it comes up every once in a while still in my comment section, and I don't know if they're trolling
it's like
or not.
A random comment. Like I get random comments all the time saying that I'm people's long lost brother and how we're gonna be reunited. Like you get so comments from people. Just...
Does that not bother you? Does that not scare you? Because it scares the shit out of me. It gets lodged in my head, and I will think about one of those types of comments for days at a time.
Why, dude? Why? I get even like a small channel like mine. I get like insane schizo comments, and I'll just be like, "Wow, these people are retarded." I'll just like, I'll move on, dude. I don't understand how you could be thinking about that like all day, dude. I would go turn off your computer, the off button, close your laptop, turn off your phone, go for a walk outside.
I've always been afraid like one of these motherfuckers was going to show up at my front door, and one of them did, you know, and because they thought that was okay to do that because they had, you know, depersonalized. I mean, also,
do you think Frank thought it was okay to do that?
I don't know why you would have done it otherwise.
Frank, if you don't know what he's talking about, basically Frank Castle showed up to Boogie2988's house to like troll him, and Boogie threatened him with shooting with a gun. Honestly, in that situation, I can feel for Boogie. Just because he did have a troll show up and he tried, I understand his actions because he doesn't know what the fuck Frank Castle is going to do, okay? He doesn't know Frank Castle. He doesn't know what his next actions are going to be. He doesn't know if Frank Castle is going to potentially try and like harm him, right? Like beat him up. So I actually understand Boogie's actions during that situation. I can't criticize him too much for that.
He just thought it was funny.
Yeah, but I mean... Frank Castle probably did just think it was funny, though. Like, I can't lie. The interaction was really funny, but I can sympathize at least with his actions, you know?
I think it was a not great thing for anyone to do, even if it was to someone like me.
I agree with you, but yeah. I don't think he did it because he thought it was socially acceptable or he thought you deserved it. He just thought it was funny and he wanted to do it for views, and it got him views.
Yeah, it did. To this day, if you Google his name, I think a picture of me is one of the first things that comes up. So I don't know if that's the type of legacy that I want to leave, but I saw him in the fish tank recently. The fish tank was excellent. But I want to go back to the in the moment where he was like talking to Airsoft Fatty. I was like, man, maybe I'm fucking wrong about this guy a little bit. I mean, I'll never have the opportunity to act on that. But his like heart to heart with Fatty, I was like, shit, maybe I'm a little bit wrong with this guy. But whatever.
I mean, Boogie, if Boogie had never like reacted to Frank Castle like he did, Frank Castle would not have showed up to his house. It's like that. If you just would have fucking ignored him, Frank Castle would not have pulled up to your crib. Okay, like there's a reason that Frank Castle has never showed up to Mr. Beast's house. Okay, it's because Mr. Beast does not care about Frank Castle. Like he just doesn't care. Frank Castle is like nothing to him. I didn't even know that Frank Castle was a veteran.
But going back to those abuse allegations, right? Do you believe that I was emotionally abusive to this girl or any girl? Is that something that you genuinely believe out of curiosity?
I have no idea. Do I know? No.
Yeah.
But
do you think
I mean, you yourself told me you're mentally ill, you're delusional, you get
Yeah.
these weird.
I like that's just the thing, right? Like Tom's not gonna make a comment on the situation because at the end of the day, it's he said, she said, and that's what you should do in these situations. Like Boogie has no concept of this because he just takes everything he hears as like fact and like his delusions or whatever. But in reality, when something's he said, she said, you shouldn't form an opinion on it, and you should just keep an open mind. Like, is it possible Boogie abused someone? Yeah. Did he probably though? Probably not. Just because there's no evidence of it, right? If there's no evidence, then it probably didn't happen. That's how you should operate under any situation.
Weird headspaces, so maybe.
So that's something I want to admit on this podcast, and I know it's going to have a hell of a backlash, but I'm going to admit it. I have been recently diagnosed as autistic, and for the longest time, I thought it was like post-traumatic stress disorder that would cause me to act the way that I would act when I would have an autistic meltdown.
Dude, no, he's not beating the allegations, the autism allegations. He's not beating them.
But I think now more than me and my therapist agree that most of the moments I've had that have been anything that could be remotely close to abusive would be having an autistic meltdown, and what those look like. And that girl did see this one day. It's me begging her to leave me alone. Please just leave me alone. Please stop raising your voice with me. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Hitting myself in the head. Just leave me the fuck alone. I need you to leave me alone. Please just leave. Just leave. Just leave. And I, in retrospect, I feel that is borderline abusive. And it's something I've wanted to fix. It's something.
Oh, he's not. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm retarded. Frank Castle is not a veteran. Okay, I rescind that statement. Dude, maybe I'm not beating the autistic allegations. Okay, dude, it's over for me.
I've wanted to correct. My ex-wife probably saw that all of 3 or 4 times in the time that we were together. That girl saw me do that when she raised her voice with me and was yelling at me, and I felt the need to try to get her to stop. And but that said, to think that I have a pattern of emotional abuse or some sort of like nefarious pattern of physical abuse or something like that, one of the reasons that has bothered me so much is because I managed to end the cycle of abuse. My parents beat on us kids like it was a fucking career. Emotional abuse was just what they called interacting with their children. And so the fact that I've never done that to another person is something I'm very proud of. I'm very proud that I've never intentionally hurt another person the way they intentionally hurt us. And when people accuse me of doing that, it's very hurtful for me. I find it extremely painful. Does that make sense? So I'm glad to know, because so many people are convinced that I'm that kind of person, convinced that I did it. And that's very difficult for me to handle. In fact, that's something I have tried to like manipulate my way around, is like try to convince people to see the reality that that's not a possibility.
I don't think Boogie could abuse anyone if he wanted to. Like, I mean, to be fair to Boogie, like through his interactions online, like where he's just like so submissive and always like fucking, he just like takes a beating from everyone and then just like doesn't fight back at all. I highly doubt he's abusive to anyone, and I doubt he could be. I don't even think he could be abusive to anyone. He just like melts down.
But so many people want me to be that for some reason. I don't know why. What else was in your video? What other points did you make that you think is interesting for people?
Let me check real quick.
You're retarded.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Dude,
I feel like
what's worse, the neck beard or is this like, I don't even know what to call this. Is this like chest hair? Chest to neck hair? It's just like it goes all the way, dude.
to some level, not just in the things that were in the video, but what are you personally invested about? Because I feel like there has to be some level of personal investment to have made as many videos as you've made.
It's just funny. It's funny to make a lot of videos on Boogie2988 because he's done a lot of retarded things that are funny to laugh at.
Probably things that you particularly care about yourself as Tom.
What's my personal investment? I mean, I don't know that it's like a moral investment. I just found your story interesting. You know, you're very YouTube legend kind of thing, and
I like that.
You've ended up very different. I don't know that it's like I wasn't like a huge fan of you back in the day or anything.
Yeah, sure.
But I remember watching you during the when I was getting into the commentary stuff and the Anita thing happened. You were talking about during that, so.
Oh yeah, that was a rough time for me, man.
Yeah, I talked about that in the video. But the video is less of like points against you. I don't think there's any point I could make that nobody has talked about.
Well, to talk about the Anita Sarkeesian thing a little bit. I'm not sure what you included in that, but like Gamergate was happening. And
dude, my favorite topic, Gamergate. Let's go.
And this is where I got labeled as a centrist because I believed during Gamergate that you could both fix gaming journalism without harassing women, right? I didn't think it had to be one.
Dude, harassing women's a must for me, honestly. It's non-negotiable. I need that in my day-to-day life, or I will melt down in a similar fashion to Boogie, okay?
One or the other. We weren't going to fix gaming journalism by harassing women. That wasn't going to achieve anything, right? So I felt like we could fix gaming journalism and leave women in gaming alone. And that
do not leave them alone.
You have to pick a side. Either we hate women in gaming, or you're a sellout piece of shit. And I disagreed wholeheartedly. But that said, I feel like I also miscommunicated that. So a lot of people felt like I was taking the feminist side of things, which wasn't necessarily the truth. But then feminists were mad that I didn't take their side. And so then I got put on a panel with Anita Sarkeesian. And I already had a reputation online as being some alt-right something in her mind. And so she went off on me. And dude, I'm a people pleaser. I feel like if I was ever going to be emotionally abusive to anybody, it might have.
That's just because they're retarded. Like, Anita Sarkeesian's fucking retarded, dude. You shouldn't have let her do that to you, right? She had the complete wrong idea about you. You're obviously not an alt-righter. You're not. You're not some like freak. Yeah. That's not Boogie at all. Okay, Boogie, you need to just defend yourself. That's all I'm saying. Pull the gun on Anita Sarkeesian like you did to Frank.
Been hurt because she was being verbally abusive to me. She was saying some not great stuff to my face.
So,
and,
I mean, this is the thing with the people pleaser. This is why people call you a fence sitter, because you'll have a very strong opinion one way.
Yeah.
That I think you genuinely feel, and then when someone responds to you, I mean, even if it's a small amount of response, like with your take that people who misgender others should be in jail, and then people respond, you'll immediately go back the other way.
Jesus
well,
Christ.
I didn't think they should be in jail, but I was in favor of there being some level of punishment for purposely misgendering somebody. And I still think there's probably some level.
What do you mean punishment? Dude, what are you talking about? You should be like fined if you are mean to people. It's so fucking retarded. I don't even know how your brain can operate at such a low level.
Punishment that is appropriate for that. I don't think jail time.
Someone?
No, for purposely misgendering somebody. If I sat here and started screaming at you, Tom, you're a girl, you're a fucking girl, Tom, you're a woman, look at you, you don't have a penis. Like, that's a verbal assault. That's messed up. A
verbal assault, dude. Yeah. What happened to just being mean to people and it doesn't matter? Because as soon as Tom turns off his PC, guess what? You're not there anymore, and it doesn't matter.
Probably deserves a level of.
I'm balding. I'm actually
in the United States, verbal assault is punishable by law. So I feel like that is fair if that's the type of verbal assault you're going for. But verbal assault is punishable by law, and I support that.
I'm verbally assaulting Boogie2988 right now. I'm going to jail, bro. Nah, dog. Look at my lawyer. I'm about to go to jail.
Do you not? If somebody verbally assaults somebody else, you don't think that's punishable by law?
I don't think it should be. No.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'm not saying they should go to jail. I'm saying more, maybe even a private thing, maybe a fine, maybe a slap on the wrist, nothing larger than a misdemeanor.
I mean, if you're following someone around in real life, like harassing them, then yeah, you should probably go to jail, because at that point, like when you're harassing someone in real life, there's no off switch to make that person instantly just fucking go away. You have to physically remove yourself from the situation, and depending on how unhinged the other person is, that could be potentially very difficult to physically remove yourself. While in this instance, online, it's as simple as pressing a button. Like, come on.
By any definition, but certainly people should be taught to not verbally assault each other, or otherwise we're going to have a hell of an interesting.
I thought you tweeted. I can probably pull it up specifically. I thought you had tweeted that you wanted people to be felons for that.
God, I hope I'm not that stupid. It is entirely possible I said something like that, but that's not an opinion I would stand by now. That would be lunacy.
That's just retarded.
Okay. Boogie said people who purposely misgender should get hit with a misdemeanor charge and even possible jail time if it evolves into hate speech, is what you said. Let me read your quote.
Hate speech,
I personally think if you're misgendering someone, it's a non-starter. Purposely doing it, I think a slap on the wrist misdemeanor is well within order. If it's actual hate speech, then go fuck yourself, lock them up. So that's what you said.
Yeah, if it's actual hate speech. Yeah, I genuinely believe.
So how do you define actual hate speech? Because in this context, you're talking about misgendering someone. Wouldn't you say is it
hate speech is everything I say, okay? it's my channel is the definition, okay?
Well, is it not such a large
in
leap to come
Minecraft
to the conclusion that you were talking about someone, maybe if they're aggressively misgendering someone 20 times, then they should be locked up? Is that not what like a conclusion people would draw from this?
Well, let's see if we can find some common ground here. If I had a mental episode and I walked up to a black man and I started calling him the N-word over and over and over again in an attempt to incite something, would you call that hate speech? And would you call that something that's punishable by law?
No, it may be punishable by law. I'm not really sure.
Not on board with that. Okay.
Yeah,
well, I think it's
probably really
I think it should be. I think that if I'm verbally assaulting someone in the hopes of creating an altercation, that is assault, and that should probably be punishable by law. I think specifically when you're doing that based on somebody's racial background, the religious choices that they're making, or the religion that they were born into, the sexuality that they were born with. I think that is particularly heinous and deserves more than a misdemeanor. How much more, I can't say for sure. But I say, yeah, if I had a mental episode tomorrow and I went downtown and started screaming the N-word at a black person in an attempt to incite something and intend to harm that person, I should be arrested and taken to jail and processed. Is that what you're talking
about in this tweet?
Well, so let's talk. If I did the same thing for a trans person, I was assaulting a trans person with my words in the attempt to incite a riot, incite a fight, to disturb the peace. Yeah,
you can't assault people with words, dude. It's just it doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you were attempting to incite a fight, that'd be something completely different, right? Because you can't incite a fight though online. Like that's the entire point, though, right? Like,
be arrested and taken in. And I do believe that is hate speech. I do believe choosing to purposely misgender and verbally assault a trans person is wrong. I think most people would agree with that.
I think it's wrong, but do you think that deserves jail time? Because a lot of things can be wrong without needing legal punishment.
Yeah, probably not jail time unless you're like a repeat offender. But certainly, I think you should be arrested and put in a tank to like give you a cool-off period.
What if you do it on YouTube?
Well, like there's definitely going to be ramifications for that. Probably not jail time, but certainly YouTube. That's against YouTube policy.
But what do you think should happen?
I don't know. I'm not really judge and jury. If I were to do something like that, I would like to be held accountable. And
no, you wouldn't, dude. If you would not want to go to jail if you were being mean online. Okay, that's so fucking stupid. No, you wouldn't. How's everything going? I'm catching up. It's awful, Abby. It's just it's awful. That's how it's been going. It's yeah.
I would like to think that accountability would involve certainly no sponsors on my video. I would probably imagine that it would get my monetization taken away for a period of time, like a cool-off period, and I think that would be appropriate. I don't necessarily...
Dude, if you were being, like, retarded on the internet, all that I hope that would come to you is just, like, a wave of, like, people, like, making fun of you and calling you retarded, okay? Like, if I genuinely came on here and started speaking about how much I hated, like, a minority group, right, then I would fully expect everyone in the comments to be just, like, dogging on me, because that's fucking retarded to say. That's not a good take. It's fucking retarded. So when you come on stream and you say something like that's all that should happen, is my point. You shouldn't go to jail. You shouldn't be banned. You shouldn't lose sponsors. You should just be made fun of for a while, right? Until you start having the good opinions, okay? like I do.
Necessarily think a channel should be deleted or removed from the platform for that specific offense as a first-time offender, because I feel like people can learn and grow, learn why that was wrong to do, and grow as a person. So somewhere along that lines, I would imagine. Where would you put that line?
If it was up to me, then nothing would happen. But it's not up to me.
Yeah, you would get bullied.
Well, I wonder, so the same way you said there's things that you regret from when you were younger, I wonder if you'll change that opinion as the time progresses, because I've noticed a lot of people in my generation...
Dude, we're back to wise man Boogie. We went from delusional, can't decipher anything, fucking full retard mode Boogie, where he can't be blamed for any of his actions just because of how utterly delusional he is, to now wise Boogie, where he's like, he's the figure of authority. He knows what he's talking about because he's older, okay? He's wise, and he's wise.
That I was born around were very conservative. And I even was a registered Republican when I was 18 years old. But then I began to realize like what the social aspect of being a conservative was for me. And I started voting off of not financial issues, because I still think I'm a financial conservative to some degree. But socially, I'm a bit of a liberal, more a libertarian than I think a liberal. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten more liberal. I don't give a shit. If you want to put on a dress tomorrow and tell me you're a woman, I don't care. You're a woman. I'll use whatever pronouns you want. I don't really care. If you wake up tomorrow and you decide you want to be in love with a man or two men or three men and five women, and you have a whole house full, Mormon house full of 20.
Dude, this is like the ultimate soy nod take. Like, wow, dude, I'm really glad that you don't have a problem with gay people. Like, this is exactly how I feel hearing this. It's just like, wow, good take. You had the correct take.
27 wives and 2 husbands. I don't care. I just want you to have the same rights as everybody else. Live as happy as you want to live. I don't care if you're black or white, short or tall, fat or skinny. That doesn't really matter to me. I just want people to live the best life.
Dude, I care.
And I do believe socially,
I don't know.
Americans deserve the same rights that every other first world nation has. I think we deserve access to healthcare the same way every other first world nation has. I think we deserve access to education the same way every first world nation does. So I'm curious if you think you'll hold that opinion when you're 30 and 40, or do you think you'll more side on the just leave everybody alone kind of opinion?
I mean, I'm not anti trans rights. I'm just also pro the rights of people being mean to them.
Yeah. Do you so out of your
dude, that is so base. You have a right to be mean to anyone you want, but that also means everyone else has a right to be mean to you. Okay, I mean, that's honestly that's my main problem with like people like Elon Musk, right? he supports the rights of like people being mean to other people, but then like when his employees like criticize him on Twitter, he'll like fucking fire them, right? Which is not right. He should support their right to be mean to him, okay? And I know it sucks for him. I know he wants to cry about it, but I mean, it's the reality, okay?
Curiosity. Do you think it's wrong to shout fire in a crowded theater and start a stampede and get people killed?
Is it wrong? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it should be punishable by law to do that?
Do I think that specifically should be punishable by law? Yes.
Yeah. So you do agree that speech should be limited to some degree in some scenarios, right?
Well, dude, if your speech is directly attempting to cause harm to someone else, then obviously you should be fucking illegal. But you can't say anything online that would cause it'd be very hard to say something online that would cause harm to someone in real life. And even if you got someone to kill themselves somehow, like over the internet, it'd be very hard to know. I mean, I guess if it's like a Chris Chan situation, right, where like you're obviously manipulating a very mentally ill person, it's gone beyond just like making fun of them, then I think you should be punished by law. Where it's like that girl was like literally convinced him to sleep with his own mom. But if it's just like you're saying mean things about them on Twitter, then no, there's no physical harm you could cause by being mean to someone on Twitter.
And we just disagree where that line is. And I think verbal assault, something I've even done, you know, we've seen me lose my temper. It's definitely happened a handful of times in my lifetime. I feel like I should not have done that. It was harmful to the people I did that to, and there should be some sort of ramification. I don't think felony.
Dude, I get verbally assaulted on Twitter every day because of my my NFT profile picture. I'm the most oppressed man on Twitter, okay? You guys don't understand. I am the most oppressed man on Twitter. Bruh. God damn it. I'm so fucking retarded. Hold up.
And we just disagree where that line is.
Okay,
and I think
we're back.
Verbal assault, something I've even done, you know, well, I did that too, and there should be some sort of ramification. I don't think felony, and I definitely don't think jail time. But
does that mean he thinks misdemeanor? Come on, dude. It's just so fucking.
I think that's
wild.
an interesting one, and I think your point of view is valid. I just don't particularly share the same point of view. But I think there's a lot of people out there that agree with that. I do believe, like for example, people have asked me why I haven't had the Lucy Fox video taken down where the girl falsely accused me of emotional abuse, and it's because she has every right to say what she wants to say. My picture's in that. I could abuse copyright. It wouldn't work out well for me, but I could do it.
Well, she has a right to say what she wants to say, but if you want to take her, you know, legally she has a right to say it, but if you want to take her to civil court, you could.
Yeah. And she doesn't have anything to begin with, or at least she didn't at the time. And secondly, she was young and people make mistakes. It was a very stupid thing for her to do, but I don't feel like that should ruin the rest of her life, you know?
But
if someone's mean to me on Twitter, I think it should ruin the rest of their life. It's if I find any of you people being mean to me on Twitter, okay, I'm taking you to court and I'm taking all of your money, and you have to be in debt for the rest of your life.
I mean, but maybe not. But that allegation caused a lot of struggle for you, caused a lot of strife for you. Aren't you upset about that?
Well, number one, I'm pretty miserable all the time anyway, so it wasn't a huge hit. Secondly, I felt like after watching the video, anyone with a brain is going to see what she's really upset about is that the $10,000 or $12,000 she got in that 3 months wasn't enough. She wanted twice that, 3 times that. She wanted to live in my home. She wanted to have all of my money. She wanted to have access to everything. She would even bring up, when I move into your house.
If someone did that to me, I'd totally own them. Dude, I'm not being nice like Boogie, okay? No more Mr. Nice Boogie.
This is going to change. I'm going to get rid of all this nerdy shit. And I would remind her, like, you're never moving in. Like, this is not the kind of arrangement we have. She get very upset at those types of things, you know? So I feel like anybody who watches that video, hears her make one claim of emotional abuse and spend 9 minutes complaining about money, they'll know what she's actually about. And I think most people do.
Okay. Well, there you go. I guess you don't need to take it down then.
Yeah. I mean, it's done irrevocable harm, and I hate it to see you bring it back up. But I think if it seems like your video, and this is something I've seen you do, so it makes sense. It was more of a historical thing. It wasn't a
You haven't watched it. You admitted you didn't fucking watch the video. Why are you making another assertion, dude? God, you're fucking meat riding Tom again, too, dude. Tom fucking hates you. He doesn't like you. Stop fucking sucking him off. Holy shit. You're sucking him off just to make a assertion that has no basis.
Personal vendetta. You were trying to draw a conclusion. You were just kind of going over the history of some of this stuff, right?
I mean, there definitely is a conclusion. I think the conclusion is that you have a very bad habit of, when something goes wrong, you tend to kick yourself in the
Crazy. Boogie was wrong because he didn't fucking watch the video. It's too traumatizing. It's crazy.
Or when something goes right, you tend to fumble it. Like the end of the video concluded with the whole crypto thing, in which case you made a bunch of money, and then you foolishly began believing that somehow you were educated on crypto or you could keep investing, and then you lost it all,
Yep. Can you hold on a second?
Sure.
Okay. It said it wasn't recording, and I panicked, but it was. Okay. Whoo! Holy shit! Because we have such good shit here. Okay, I've hit record again. It is recording again. So you mentioned the crypto loss. Yeah, that was a very stupid thing for me. Do you know why I did what I did in that particular instance? Are you interested in learning?
Because you're fucking retarded. I already know the answer. Let's see how my prediction pans out. I haven't watched this far into it.
Because I think our audience might be interested.
I believe the claim is that your friend, I think it was McJuggernuggets, gave you advice or something.
Yeah, so I had
dude. I mean, okay, that's less egregious, but still, McJuggernuggets is fucking retarded. You should never trust anything that fucker says, considering he's had multiple projects that he is just like completely like. I mean, he has about multiple projects where he's just like completely destroyed them and like done nothing. Like he's had like a week where he like actively works on them, and then he just tosses them to the wayside. He really commits to nothing. He's fucking awful, right? That guy's a complete and total retard. You should never listen to anything he has to say. And Boogie2988, if you were really McJuggernuggets' friend, you should know how retarded he is and not to listen to him.
This sounds like so much money because it is. But I can say for certain you make more than this in a month. If I looked at your statistics, I bet you do. But I had saved and saved and saved and saved. And after my divorce, I looked at my bank account and I saw my YouTube numbers dwindling. And I saw the paycheck dwindling every month. And I had about $175,000 to my name. And
do you think I make more than that in a month?
Don't you get like 10, 20 million views a month?
I get like 10 million on my main channel. I don't make $175,000 a month. I wish.
So 70, 80,000?
I make like $15 a month on YouTube. Yeah, I'm big balling like that.
If I had to guess then?
Yeah, around there.
Based on those numbers? Right. So in 2 or 3 months, you made as much as I made off 17 years on the platform to some degree. Like as much as I was able to save after everything, right? And so I never made the kind of money you guys think I did because I just struck my fame way too early on the platform, and the money wasn't there back then. The money's there now, but it wasn't then. I've never made 70 or 1,000. You know what my biggest monthly paycheck on YouTube was?
What is he talking about? Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought YouTube ad revenue back then was way better than it is right now. I'm probably talking out of my ass, but I don't know. Unless that's another signature Boogie lie.
No.
Not including sponsors, about $17,000. Including sponsors, the most I ever made in a month was about $30K.
I mean, 30
that's a pretty good paycheck, though. Honestly, like
great paycheck though. Most people don't make that in their entire life, and
that's like half of a year's salary for most people. So probably even that's like a little less than half a year's salary. Or a little more than half a year's salary. Sorry.
Oh, and I squandered it too. I got divorced, which cost me like $250,000.
But
yeah, and then I bought like all these toys I have in the background.
And then like
even beyond that, there's people who make, money, like you did, like 10, 20,000. That's a very respectable income a month for any person.
Yeah, if I could get back to that, I would be very happy. I you know how much I made last month with everything involved? About $3K. That's why I did the fight, because $10K is a lot of money to me these days, right? But I had about $175,000, and I did the math. Like my mortgage every year is $24,000, right? So just my mortgage alone, my health insurance is $780. Then gas, water, electric, all the other stuff. I was spending about $5,000 a month. So I sat down and I did the math, and I'm like, wow, I'm broke in less than 5 years, and I'm losing my YouTube income, and I don't know what else I could.
Dude, did Boogie not put any money away to like retire, bro? Like, what the fuck, bro? I don't understand how you could be this financially fucked where like you've somehow gaslit yourself into thinking you can't work a job when you could if you really got your shit together. And you also just not saved any fucking money to retire, and you're just like, like you just think you're fucking useless, right? If I'm ever in this situation, like actually shoot me. I don't. Holy fuck.
do.
Well,
So
don't you think what you could have done is change your YouTube content to make more money?
Well, I was trying to do that every day. I'm trying to do that right now. That's literally what we're doing right now by recording this. I've tried to pivot as many times as I can, but I just don't have the skill, talent.
It's very.
How many views does Boogie get? I wonder. Let's look. Because this one got like 20K views. That video about.
What?
And it was a longer video, so it did better for ad revenue. Let's see. I mean, actually, that video performed better than a lot of his other videos. So, I mean, yeah, honestly, he should just keep doing the weight loss. It seems like that's what's doing the best on his channel. And also the wings fight did miracles for him too. I mean, he's getting paid right now. Hopefully, he fucking learns his lesson and puts at least some of this away for later. You know.
It's very like kind of low effort, low energy stuff, and I understand what you're saying. You don't necessarily have the time for everything.
Yeah.
But I think you have the time to put in a little more work to the videos, to maybe try and write some videos, to maybe try and edit them a little better, to make the thumbnails better, to make the titles better. Like I think there's always time for that.
There's always improvements to be made, and if you look at my content just a year ago, I think the content I'm making now is definitely more interesting and more palpable with better thumbnails. I mean, if you go back 2 or 3 years, it's drastically better.
What the fuck do you mean better thumbnails? Like, this is a good thumbnail. I can't lie. This is a good thumbnail. But like, what the fuck? What is this thumbnail? What is this thumbnail? This thumbnail fucking sucks. Take like one fucking afternoon to learn how to use Photoshop, and like my thumbnails aren't like the best, but like. Come on, dude. Like you've been doing YouTube for way fucking longer. You should not have this fucking thumbnail. This text is way too small. It's not a lot of people are gonna click on this. Look how shitty you did these horns. This one's a little better because you at least tinted yourself the red color. But I mean, come on.
Pre-COVID and post-COVID was definitely a huge shift. Post-Frank was another shift, and in the last year, I've really been putting some effort into those things, but I don't understand what YouTube wants or needs. It just, I don't know.
You fucking should. You've been doing YouTube like forever, bro. I mean, seriously. I couldn't even scroll down to the bottom of your channel if I wanted to. It'd take too fucking long.
People want to watch.
Yeah. And so I'm trying a lot of new stuff, and some of it's definitely worked in the last few months. But at the time, I thought with this subreddit going against me, and I thought with these rumors of me being an abuser or whatever I was, plus the actual things I had done, like being mentally unwell and being an asshole,
a liar,
and all the effects that was having, I'm like, it doesn't matter what I do in my YouTube content. People hate me now. So dude,
I don't even fucking hate Boogie. I just think he just does a lot of retarded shit, dude. Like, I'd be down to watch like if Boogie made entertaining content that wasn't like him going to the fucking store, like, I would fucking watch it, but like he doesn't. He makes dog shit content.
Going to do what I can to make this money. And my friend Jesse, I hate to talk his shit, but he 10x'd some money on crypto.
Jesse is retarded. He got lucky. He's retarded. Do not give him any credit. Fuck. I have a hate boner for McJuggernuggets.
And was convincing me that I could 10x my money too. And I thought, hell. You know, if I want to go broke anyway, either I can go broke this year, and I remember I wasn't planning to live through that year anyway. Yeah. I could either go broke this year and just shuffle off this mortal coil, or if I have $2 million, I'll probably choose to live. If I have enough money to retire off of, you know. It didn't work. It did the opposite of work. There was a period of time where I turned that 170 into like 700,000 before taxes.
Oh, bro, 700,000? That hurt to learn. He fucking squandered all that money, bro. Oh my god, dude, that like actually hurt my soul. He lost it all, bro. God, fuck, dude, 700,000, and you why would you put it back in? 700,000 is enough to like live out the rest of your days comfortably, bro. Come on.
But Paul,
Especially if you continue to make YouTube content, you could just use that $700,000 to like retire, bro. That hurt my soul.
pulled it out. I would have cleared
Jesus
like I would have
Christ.
almost 2x my money, and that would have been great. I really wish I
That's
had done that.
amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That would have been.
And then I woke up the next day, and it was worth less than I'd put in.
But the thing is, it wasn't just like a one day to the next day thing. It's like you made
No, it was. It really was. I put my money into storage, and one day it was like 700,000, and the next day it was worth less than 200,000 again.
Well, what do you mean you put it into storage? Because you didn't cash out.
Well, I bought the coin, and the coin has never gone back up in value.
Yeah, but you didn't cash out. Cashing out would be what?
No, I did. I did end up cashing out eventually. Yeah, I took that huge loss. Took the huge loss.
But you didn't.
That coin's
but what
never
I'm saying
gone
is you
back
didn't
up.
cash out when it was up. Because when it was up, you made
Right,
a YouTube
yeah.
video about how you had all this money.
Yeah, it was a very
Jesus.
stupid thing to not cash out then. And you know, it's so interesting to like, what do you think I said in that video? Have you seen that video? What do you think I said in that video? Because I know what I thought I said.
What do I think you said?
Yeah, like what do you
I
think the point
said
of that
that you
video
got
was?
extremely lucky and that you hadn't cashed out yet, and that you were gonna wait a little longer, but that you would be able to retire.
Yeah, which was like I said, $700,000, which was enough I thought to live the rest of my life on, because the prospect of me living another 10 years seemed really slim.
Well, irregardless of that, like 700,000, you know, like you said, after taxes, like five, maybe
Half
four,
million, yeah.
yeah. But still, that's amazing. And then you
Yeah, it's a
would
tremendous
you'd be,
amount of
you would
money,
be
yeah.
able to, and you could have cashed out then. But you have,
And I had my,
you had like
what
the gambler's
sucks-
fallacy thing.
well, yo, on top of that, you know what sucks so bad about it? I had myself convinced that wasn't enough money. Like I would cut my left nut off right now and eat it to have $500,000 right now. There's nothing I wouldn't do to get $500,000 right now. But at the time when I
do you
when
have
I
like,
was
people
clearing it,
around you, like friends that would tell you like cash out?
no, they were telling me to keep my money in. They were all telling me to keep it in.
Yeah, fucking
Jesse was telling me keep it in.
retarded ass McJuggernuggets was the one person doing it. Hey, Liana. Hey, if you need more proof that McJuggernuggets is like a fucking bumbling retard, it's actually crazy how retarded he is. Like, Boogie had $700,000 in the stock market, and he had dumbass McJuggernuggets in his ear telling him to not fucking pull out. What is wrong with you? Are you fucking $700,000? That's an astonishing amount of money. Like, bro, especially like, I mean, Boogie's telling me about how poor he was all his life. If I had the chance to have $700,000 or risk it for like 2 million or whatever the fuck number he was talking about, I'm taking the $700,000 like right now, bro. What? That's fucking crazy. I'm malding, dude. I'm fucking malding about it. I'm mad.
Keep it in. Write it out. Write it out.
There's some bad friends, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not disagree.
You need new friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, me and Jesse don't really talk anymore.
Good.
In fact, I'll tell you, I don't even know if I'll
dude,
include this in the
Boogie2888. That's his second point. He's gotten this fucking hour. We just saw an hour of this. Like, Boogie's got 2 points. Okay, his second point was for not being friends with dumbass fucking McJuggernuggets. That guy's fucking retarded.
video. But did you see my fight? Did you watch this fight I did? It was an embarrassment,
I
obviously.
did watch it. Yes, I did.
Yeah. It was a huge embarrassment on my part. I mean, a lot of people are proud that I just got.
I mean, he did it. That's fair enough. He fucking did the fight. I don't even think it was really his fault that he did so shit. It's just he has like stubby fucking baby arms and he couldn't like do he actually couldn't do anything against Wings. It's like their bodies, like they were so fat that like his arms could not reach Wings physically because like their tummies would touch before his fist could reach his face. It was like, yeah, I didn't think it was all too that big of a, yeah. Honestly, I think he did fairly well for what he
in the ring, and I'm kind of proud that I got in the ring, but I had no chance against the guy. He's younger, healthier, has the longer reach.
Yeah, he
was
just
more
had longer reach, honestly.
fit. Like my 6 weeks preparation was just going to physical therapy, learning how to walk again so I could make it to England. Like that was my focus, right? His focus was learning to fight. So he went in just infinitely better than me. But that said, did you see what my opponent was wearing? My opponent was wearing a Psycho Dad t-shirt. Jesse sponsored my opponent. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, that is actually crazy. This piece of shit Jesse lost Boogie2988 $70,000 and then bet against him in his own fight, dude. That's wild. That's wild. But honestly, I don't know what you expected with Jesse.
You understand why he was spiteful though?
Yeah, he actually said in the video that he hoped I got hurt, which I think is
okay. But do you know why he did that? Because it's not because of the crypto thing that he did that. It's because you called him transphobic and you.
Because he was being transphobic. Yeah, he said something transphobic. It was really messed up. The thing,
dude. I doubt he was being transphobic, but it would be really funny if he was being transphobic. So I don't know. I'm split here.
Right, but you understand, like, you with all of your baggage decided that it would be good to go after this guy for something he did. I guess he was being transphobic. I don't know if he was. Something he apparently did privately.
I don't think I've ever been transphobic, but yeah, I do have baggage. But I've actually, I grew up with a trans person.
I'm not saying you have to be transphobic. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you both have histories. You obviously more than him. And a moment of weakness for him, when someone came out against him to try and hurt his reputation, you backed that person up instead of your friend.
Well, the reason I backed up that person is because it was my friend Emily, and she asked me to help, and I chose to help because she's a friend. And me and Jesse had not talked at years to that point. We had a
and McJuggernuggets lost him $70,000. Okay, we're skipping over this part, but if somebody gave me like retarded advice that lost me $70,000, I don't fucking care, dude. You're a transphobe. You're a homophobe. I'm actually I'm slandering your name on the timeline. Okay, I do. I can't. Yeah.
Falling out. He threw me out of his house for just the weirdest reason. He threw me out of his house because someone else was filming girls that I didn't bring. That's just so weird that I got thrown out because
I don't know the whole situation is there. I know there was like some hookers involved or something. But what I'm saying, what I'm saying is that you understand why he was like kind of mad.
Yeah, but I still think it was kind of unusual to sponsor my opponent there or whatever.
Is it unusual?
Yeah, it seems really unusual. I wouldn't have done that. I don't think.
I mean, it's like petty. Is it unusual? I mean, it's just he was mad at you because you at a low point when someone was making allegations to try to cancel him. You know, you back that person up, and it's not like it was an allegation of like pedophilia or sexual assault. It was an allegation that he said something mean.
Do you think it was wrong for me to tell him not to assault, not verbally assault or drag? Like, it turns out Emily also fucked up.
Oh my god, dude, you're losing me, Boogie. Okay, I'm the conductor of the McJuggerNugget tape train, but you cannot be. He did not verbally assault anyone. Okay.
Really bad too. I didn't know that at the time when I joined the crusade against Jesse. I didn't know that Emily had also been a bit of a piece of shit.
I don't know the story there.
So I don't know that well either. Apparently she was making like jokes about.
So I'm gonna be 100%. So I'm gonna make a statement about Emily being a piece of shit, but I don't really know what happened. Like, come on, if that doesn't sum up this entire conversation, like, it's crazy.
Putting estrogen in his food, and apparently there was like something where she was sitting in a room listening to him have sex one day or something, and like made a joke the next day. So Jesse was right to be petty in that situation, and I think he was right to be petty in my situation as well. Give him full credit, right? At the same time, I think it's also okay to tell your friends, hey, don't be transphobic. Hey, don't be racist. I don't like it.
But you didn't say that to him. You said it on Twitter in public.
Yeah, it was a really stupid thing to do, I think, in retrospect. I think it is important to hold people accountable sometimes for the same things they say and do. Certainly, people like you have held me accountable, right? And when it's an actual thing I said, when it's an actual thing I did, I think it's important to hold people accountable, right? That's why I liked Content Cop. I didn't necessarily like every episode of Content Cop, but I liked it when he held Keemstar accountable. Someone should hold Keemstar accountable for the things he says and does, right? Even Keemstar admitted.
I mean, Tom is holding Boogie2988 accountable, but he had like a fucking rage fit on Twitter. So like all this fucking preaching about holding people accountable is just like, it's falling on deaf ears. This I don't care.
That on my podcast.
I think I used
someone has to police check him because he's a very powerful person. And in iDubbbz was the person. So
Boogie2988 is large and in charge.
I never had any delusions he was going to get canceled or his career was going to be over. Hell, he barely uploads as it is, and nobody watches what he uploads now. So what's he going to lose? He's a multi-millionaire, I'm certain of it, based on the homes that he owns. So he's not going to lose his income because he doesn't need one. I thought it was important to say, hey, don't say things like that, if specifically to a personal friend. But
Fair enough. I agree. Yeah. But don't you think there's a good reason for Jesse to be upset, given the fact that this person who had, now you admit, who had fucked him over, right? Who had
Yeah,
personally
yeah.
fucked him over, then tried to do it to
Yeah.
him in public. And what you did was back them up instead of, Jesse.
And so here's what I'm going to do, a classic Boogie backpedal right now, because you've given me some new perspective and new information, and I think you're right. And so I'm going to backpedal from the thing I said 5 minutes ago. And I do this kind of shit all the time. When I'm given new information and a new perspective, sometimes my perspective changes. And it's specific.
He was given new information. What do you mean? He was just he had it explained to him like a fucking toddler. There was no new information. You lived it. What? There was no new information. You lived that experience. You have all the informations you could possibly want. What are you talking about? This is crazy. Do you wanna? What do your thumbnails look like, Abby Blackbird? Let me look. I'll keep playing.
Specifically because in this particular case, and I hope it give you better insight into the way my brain works. It was so personally painful to me. I had painted Jesse out to be the bad guy in my brain. Oh, he's a bad guy. He made my fight
good.
about him. How dare he do that? That's so messed up. This moment's about me. I don't want to be thinking about him and our drama in the middle of my moment and my fight. And when I see it from this new perspective, I'm like, wow, I was the asshole. I probably should.
You had it explained to you like a fucking baby. Like is that really what it takes? Do you need like a caretaker to explain every fucking social interaction you have in like Fortnite terms, dude?
Shouldn't think that way. Does that make sense?
Sure. I mean, I don't know Jesse. I mean, the whole story fire thing was probably not good, but
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all like personal drama from friend to friend, and I regret having aired it at all. In fact,
my hair is still creep show art. I'm getting it. I'm fixing it tomorrow. I have an appointment to get it fixed.
it might not even make this edit, but if it does, hi Jesse, I still love you, brother, to some degree. So is there any other big ones that you think our mutual audiences would be interested in? Is there any, what out of all the things that you researched in that video, what do you think was the most interesting thing we haven't covered? Because I'm sure I wasted so much of your time already today.
No, it's all right.
I forgot to put it back on.
I'm recording too,
a little
by the way,
fast.
sure
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything I have a question about. I don't think there's anything in the video that's like a
Thanks, Joker.
That's like, did this happen? Because I think I pretty much know the truth of all of it. I guess I am curious now what your opinion would be of the Frank Castle events and how you would look back at that, and would you have done anything differently?
Yeah. So here's my perspective of that. I think you're friends with Frank to some degree. I've certainly seen photos of you guys together, right?
We hung out,
so,
yeah.
See, I think you know him better than I do. But my perspective of him at the time, somebody came into my chat and said,
completely fair to Boogie. Someone you don't know from the internet shows up to your house. I think he reacted appropriately getting the gun. That's what I would do if somebody showed up to my house from the internet who openly didn't like me. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. They could be fucking unhinged. I would get the gun and make them leave my property. That's completely reasonable. Where Boogie messed up, though, was giving Frank Castle all this fucking attention and all this, like, because he wouldn't have showed up to Boogie2988's house if, Boogie had not given him so much attention and fed into him so much, Like, that's just how it rolls.
Oh, Frank Castle's coming to your house. He's going to hurt you. He's going to murder you. He's going to end you. He's going to kill you. While I was live streaming one night. And I actually was in such a bad mental state at that time, I started crying. Like, that's out there. I'm sure people can find that clip if you haven't. And so I messaged the guy and I'm like, hey man, are you like for real? Or are you just like a comedian? And I also went to like Keemstar and Ethan Ralph and people like that. Is this guy like actually dangerous? And they all assured me that he's a comedian. Nothing bad's going to happen, Boogie. It's all a bit, So I agreed to go into Ethan Ralph podcast with him.
I mean, do we really believe that? I just don't understand, dude. Someone's threatening to kill you online. Your first reaction is to believe that they're actually going to come kill you. But then it upsets you to the degree where you start crying on stream. And then you go on another stream with them. His decision making is just so fucking like he's like an ape. I don't understand why he would make that decision. And
I was like, go ahead, be the bad guy. You can clown on me. I don't really care. And he did all the same shit. He said stuff like, oh, you're fat or you're fucking gay. The usual Frank shit.
Got him, dude.
Shit. But then halfway through that podcast, he's like, what happens when I show up at your house? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'll take you out to dinner, I guess. And eventually he's like, no, Boogie, you don't understand. I'm coming to your house one day, and when I do, it's going to be the worst day of your fucking life. It'll be worse than the day your parents molested you. I'm going to fucking ruin you. And that triggered something in my brain, man. And it triggered the old country man in me that said, we don't take shit like that from nobody. It also triggered the victim part of me where I'm like terrified of the guy now. And so I spiraled the fuck out of control. I left the podcast.
I mean, I don't, yeah, if someone says they're going to kill me, I don't really take it seriously, but I also, like if someone says they're going to kill me, I'm not over the internet. I'm not going to take that seriously. But also, I'm not going to like interact with that person, right? I'm going to be like, wow, this person's fucking unhinged. I'm not going to talk to them ever. I'm not going to do any content with them. I'm not going to, like, that just seems like a bad idea. It's feeding into them. Like, you know?
And I took him for his word. As I think anybody would. I think most people, if somebody says something like that to you, you're going to believe them. And so 6 weeks later, he's in my town taking photos in my neighborhood. I'm in your town, you fat F-A-G-G-O-T. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
So I reached out to Keemstar again, and I'm like, hey, man, this isn't cool. Why is he here? What's going on? Don't worry, Boogie. He'll never come to your house. So 2 days later, or however long, 24 hours later, I don't know. I was out of my mind. I didn't sleep. We barred every window and door. We set the alarms. We put shit in front of doors so he couldn't come in.
He reinforced his doors. He did the meme.
I didn't know I was going to get shot or killed. I had no clue. And that's what I genuinely had convinced myself was likely. I even called the cops the night before and talked to him. If this guy shows up, what am I supposed to do? I said, if he tries to enter your home, you have every right to defend yourself. Okay. So then I end up on that podcast with Keemstar, and the old country man in me comes out, and I just kept telling him over and over again, if you show up here, son, I'm going to kill you.
So why didn't you kill him? Why didn't you?
I don't think I'm a killer. That's the easiest one. I don't think I have it in me. The second one was I saw that GoPro strapped to his head, and I realized I was going to have to sit in a court and watch me murder somebody from their own perspective. And thirdly, it's because he didn't do anything threatening other than verbally assault me. And I don't believe you should end a person's life for verbal assault. Just because he's calling me an F-A-G-G-O-T, just because he's calling me the N-word, just because he's on my personal property, I believe he has the right to leave. And he chose to do so, and I'm glad.
Dude, build the Joker, build the barricades, dig the trenches. Frank Castle's coming. He
did. I'm glad he didn't like attack me or try to do anything like that, because I think there was a real chance I would have pulled that trigger. And I did pull the trigger, and that was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Out of all the stupid shit I've ever done, I endangered the lives of myself, of that person, of my neighbors. That bullet has to come down somewhere. That was an idiotic thing for me to do. And it's something I've lived with a tremendous amount of guilt and regret over this whole time. It's just been something that...
I mean, yeah, it's him shooting into the air or whatever. Like, it wasn't smart of him to do, but it's one of the more reasonable things he's done, honestly. Like, a fire warning shot into the air, you're not thinking in the moment. Like, that's pretty reasonable, I'd say. Murder with no sentence, true. Dude, could you imagine Boogie, like, in prison, though?
And I took my legal lumps, and I'm still suffering. I spent $27,000 in legal fees to keep my ass out of jail, because they wanted to throw the book at me to make a high profile case of like gun control. At the end of the day, I don't think the threat that Frank made was right, and I definitely don't think him showing up on my property was right. That said, I don't think me pulling the trigger was right. I don't think me threatening him on that podcast was right, and I don't think his initial desire to come at me was right at all either, to that degree. And I think that's one of the reasons.
Thought about that as like kind of an opportunity in retrospect to rehabilitate yourself.
I have quite a bit, actually, because of that. One of the very first. I think that, I mean, I don't know what I could possibly do to win people. The people that are like, Frank was right, you deserve that. There's nothing I can do to bring those people back.
Well, I don't mean those people.
Right?
You know, the more normie YouTube audience who probably saw that and thought it was.
Yeah. I mean, Joker points out that if this is one of your more reasonable moments, then, like, you know. But I mean, unironically though, it is one of his more reasonable moments.
It's, you know, fucked up for people to do that.
Like he handled it especially well. Like, considering all his online behavior, where he's just like a pathological liar, constantly like having autistic meltdowns all over Twitter, he handled it pretty well.
Well, my lawyer immediately told me after that to stop making content, and he was right to tell me that. After that incident, he told me to lay as low as humanly possible, and I had already in my mind begun to retire. Like, I'm done with YouTube.
But I think the reason why is because he thought that you would make it worse for yourself, rather than the fear that someone else would do it. I think he was afraid that you would say something that would make you look bad, or you would contradict yourself.
Oh, that's what. Yes, exactly what my lawyer told me to do, because I'm an idiot. Like my lawyer, God bless him, Pine Dryer. He knows me from.
Believe
back
it or
in
not,
days.
there's some YouTubers that
God
he
damn it,
knows what an
sorry.
idiot I am. He's seen me at my absolute worst stupidities, right? He's seen me when I was homeless. He's seen me when I was getting on disability. He saw me when I was at my absolute most miserable moments in life. And so his advice was lay low.
Dude, could you imagine Boogie just like Frank Castle shows up to his house and he gets out the Mountain Dew and the fucking controller and he just starts fucking checking that shit at him. That would have been the Giga Chad movie.
Shut the fuck up. Don't talk about it. Don't say that person's name ever again.
He like enters
Don't go on any
Francis
podcast about it. I'm like, this is a redemption tour for me. Like, there's so many people taking my side, and he's like, is it good to have a YouTube career while you're in jail, Boogie? Because I'm trying to keep you out of jail. And yeah, he was right to do that, I think. I also started really intense therapy at the beginning of that year. I was seeing somebody via BetterHelp, but also in person. Because BetterHelp tells you to. They're like, you should also consult like a therapist that you see in person. And boy, I mean, we made some progress after that for sure.
Is BetterHelp good? Do you know there
It's
was, like, a
320
controversy
where
a few
I
years ago?
am.
I will tell you
We're
that
big
this
chilling.
last year I got assigned with the best therapist I've ever had. And I don't know if that speaks well of that therapist as much as it does the service, because the service could still be shit. I don't know. I just used it as a matchmaking system to get in contact with this one particular therapist. And that particular therapist works daily with children who are abuse survivors as children. And also at night works with adults who have been abused children.
Sure.
So he knew me like the back of my hand, and I got the best therapy I've ever
But as
had.
far as BetterHelp, you haven't. I thought there was some kind of service on it where you would talk to like a therapist over the internet.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. I was doing phone therapy once a week. You can do video therapy as well. And I think video therapy and phone therapy, especially during COVID, was just as valid as any other type of therapy. Because I wasn't willing to die getting therapy. I wasn't willing to get a cold or get COVID and fucking die from that shit.
Okay.
My doctor told me to be very careful about that. But yeah, no, I think BetterHelp is a very good service depending on who you get matched with. And I think that's therapy is like dating. If people don't know that, you absolutely need to get the right therapist who gets you and you get that therapist. And if you don't, you're not going to have a good time in therapy. You need to shop around therapy the same way you shop around dating.
How do you feel about when you see a video for someone like June the King or Christopher Tom or me, when you see one of us drop a video documenting your stuff? How does that make you feel when you get that on your timeline?
So when Christopher Tom made his first video, it was devastating for me.
I'm cutting.
I was already suicidal, but
I'm cutting the hair tomorrow, Abby. You're gonna get to see it. I'll post it on Twitter. I gotta fix the it's gold. I'm Goldilocks right now. I gotta fix it. I gotta the creep show hair.
boy, it hastened my timeline quite a bit. And I can't put that on that kid. That's on me, you know. He took that mega thread and decided to make a video for it. And 3 million people saw it and they believed all of the shit. And I was seeing that in my timeline, my comment section every day. You were abusive to your wife. You're a piece of shit. You're a rapist. You're all this other terrible shit. I don't know if anybody called me a rapist, but you know what I'm saying. And it really leveled me. It destroyed me. My mental health crumbled. When I saw your video, this last Friday here, 7 years later, it started that same path. I immediately started to collapse on myself. I'm like, oh my God, all this goodwill from the fight is going to evaporate. People are going to go right back into believing these horrible things about me, some of which are true.
Watch the video then. Like, I don't know what to tell you because that's not what happened. You just like gaslit yourself into thinking that's what happened. Like,
some of which are not. And I'm not going to be able to get my income back up. I'm not going to be able to entertain people. I won't be able to help people. I won't be able to do the thing that I want to do here so desperately. And I'm very mad at Tom for choosing that. I'm mad that out of all the things Tom could make a video about today, why did he decide to shit on my particular parade? But it took me an hour or so to realize that that's a negative thought pattern. And that, as Keemstar said, it's just as good that people are shit talking you as if they're talking positively about you. Which would I rather have? People talking both positively and negatively about me, or people not talking at all? And I need people to watch my videos. I need people to check in on what I'm doing every once in a while. I want it. I need it. I have to have it. I need the income that comes from it. So I tried to take it as a good thing.
Get some real friends then. I don't know what to tell you because online is not a good place for that. You just go outside, Boogie. Go outside.
And I try to turn it into a good opportunity, like sitting down and talking with you today. And I think it's turned out to be a good opportunity. I think people are going to learn a lot about both of us during this podcast, and hopefully it'll be at least entertaining. I think posting this on my channel is going to do as much damage is good. But hopefully people will be entertained along the way.
Have people giving you a lot of advice on YouTube stuff and what they think you should do? Like, I don't know, YouTube friends, have they been like, don't do this, oh, don't do that?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, and it's kind of frustrating for
Do you
them.
take it or no? I assume.
No, the same way like my dietitian will set me down and be like, hey, if you eat 1,800 calories a day and it's mostly protein and you focus on the protein and the water macros, you're gonna lose weight. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, I know. But have I done that yet? Do I seem like the person that's so in control of their eating that I'll be able to do that? And so when people are like, hey, make better videos, I'm like, okay, well, how about I sprout fucking wings and fly?
Dude, the thing is, it's like Boogie is not taking any steps to make these things happen, right? He's just saying, oh, well, it's over because I'm too retarded. I have no impulse control. I'm never going to be able to eat better. Boogie2988 could just only buy healthy food, and then the temptation wouldn't be there. He could get someone else to buy his food for him, right? And then he wouldn't be tempted at all to eat unhealthy food. It's a solution that he's not willing to explore because he doesn't want to change, right? He doesn't want to take an afternoon to look into Adobe Premiere Pro, learn some editing techniques, and then apply those to his YouTube videos because it takes effort and it's too much effort for him.
I don't know what I'm doing, man. I just do what my brain tells me to do, and I try to function as a human. People tell me, hey, don't interact with negative people. Fuck Tom. Don't do the podcast. Don't interview him. I did it anyway. I do what I do.
Do you not think you have more free will than that? I mean, you said your brain tells you what to do, but don't you tell your brain and your body what to do? Like, you have some
I'm learning.
choice.
I'm learning. I think, based on what I've learned in the last year in therapy, and I know everybody's going to say, oh, poor victim Boogie, but the truth of the matter is, when you live the first 18 years of your life in a war zone, it affects the person you're always going to be. When you wake up with a knife in you, when you wake up, when you get molested, when you get the shit beat out of you, when the parents who are supposed to take care of you and protect you instead abuse you and use you, it affects the person you are, and it always will. And that's just the reality of it. And so and nobody taught me the human skills. Like, I don't know if you're close with your parents, Tom. I don't know if they taught you how to drive. I don't know if they taught you how to pay a bill. I don't know if they loved you and hugged you. I don't know if they took you to the fucking park. I don't know if they did that shit for you. But if they did, that shit didn't happen for me. The opposite of that shit happened for me. Nobody taught me shit. I've had to learn it all. I had to figure it all out on my own. And I had to learn it in a way that works with this broken body and this broken brain. And so
that's really sad. But as the Joker points out in chat, you just need to make bigger life changes than that, right? You just need to change what's in your cabinets. You need to change all this other stuff. You need to change who's supplying your food. And if you really wanted to change, you could make these steps and it could happen.
It's frustrating because I am learning the things that I need to learn, the skills that I need to learn. But I have a certain amount of arrested development that I've been struggling with for the entirety of my life. And I'm still struggling with it now. And I'll be honest with you, if this polycythemia shit doesn't kill me in 20 years, I'll still be struggling with it then. It's difficult when the demons that are in my skull are as loud as they are to not listen to them. It's real fucking hard. But I do a pretty good job. I've never hurt another person, even though the people that hurt me, I've never done that to another person. I'm still alive, even though I had a voice in my head for the first 48 years telling me to blow my brains out. I have exerted some free will, but just not in areas that I think other people wish I would. I think people want to see me lose the weight, and I want that too. I think people want to see me gain better control of my faculties and my mental health, and I would like that too. I think people would like to see me create better content, and I would like that too. But my focus is almost always on just functioning as a human being and learning how to do that. I still don't know how to do that. And it's embarrassing and awful to admit that when you're a 48-year-old man. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I hope you can do that. That would make me very happy.
Let's go, Boogie.
Yeah, I appreciate that. At the end of the day,
as someone who profits on your demise, obviously that sounds a bit rich coming from me, but I genuinely, I hope you can figure it out while we're here talking in person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I've always known this. I think one of the reasons so many people are so angry about the person that I turned out to be is because they were very invested in seeing me be more successful than I've had in all of these areas. They wanted me to lose more weight. They wanted me to be a better YouTuber. They wanted me to be a better person. And I think you are one of those people. I think you would gladly like to see that, even if it meant you'd make slightly less money, And the story's not over yet, and I'm still doing a lot of work, and I'm still trying to get as much done as I can. I think the window for YouTube fame is closed, and that's okay. I think I'm permanently a locale, and it'll always be that way, and that's okay.
As it closed, I think that's a very defeatist way to look at it. I've had times in my career where everyone said, "Oh, he's a locale now. He's a locale. He can never come back." But I figured it out.
Yeah,
it can be done.
Thank you. I did not expect to get hope from you today, but that is very helpful to me. Actually, thank you.
At the end of the day, people think a lot of things of me, but I think if you make good content, it's undeniably good. Then people
I'll tell you.
Watch.
True. Just make better content. I mean, that's the worst advice ever, right? But there's infinite tutorials on YouTube, like I've already pointed out. There's infinite ideas on YouTube. Just like look at other people and what they're doing. Look at something like something someone else is doing, right? Like look at what's successful on YouTube now. Look at what's making the most money, and just do that, right? Only click said Turkey Tom in the title. Let's go, dude. No, it's if you haven't watched this conversation already, it's just Turkey Tom. He had a conversation with Boogie2988, and basically Turkey Tom like blew him out of the water. Obviously, like Boogie kind of knelt down like he always is, just submissive. Like it's sad.
I have a few ideas. Tell me what you think about this, person to person. I got $5,000 payday coming. I got a $10,000 payday coming. And even though I had to spend about $11,000 out of savings, I could put that money back into savings, but let's be real. I got to put $3,000 aside from taxes. I had to borrow some money not too long ago from somebody. So I'm going to give that money back to them. And then on top of that, by the time it's all said and done, this payday for this fight's about $5,000. And I could just put that into savings, or I could pay a couple of months worth of mortgage. I think I want to go back to trying to create some really interesting content. And the interesting content that I want to do involves me getting back out of the world and doing some weight loss. Is that something you think you would personally like to see?
That's good. Your weight loss videos do better than all your other videos. Like that's what you should be doing, is weight loss. And yeah, not whatever the fuck this is. Like this is all these videos got like 18K. This one guy got 20K. So yeah, I'd assume it's just like training costs with like a boxing trainer and all that shit, physical therapy.
Do you think that's something you think an audience would like to see?
I think you could have done that a few years ago, but I think now people are not invested in that for you. No, I would.
Yeah.
I would put the money in savings.
That's a Tom L right there. I mean, people are like, it's just they shut down the gym. That's 34K. All of his boxing videos did really well. Where's the? I saw one earlier where it was talking about his weight loss, and it did way better than all the other content on his channel. I don't want it all gone. Wait, what do you mean you don't want it all gone? Wait, am I missing something?
And then I would just try to make the best content you can with what you have. I mean, you have.
Oh no, I'm not gonna cut all the hair off. I'm just gonna cut off. I'm not going very short. I'm just cutting a little bit. And I'm dyeing it back. I'm not, yeah. But it costs more than he was paid. I guess I don't know, dude. Maybe he's just talking about his living expenses in total, right? Because I'd imagine he had to take like at least a little bit of a break from content creation. So he wasn't making an income, and then all of his money and his rent and his mortgage, as he was talking about earlier, he had to still pay that even though he wasn't having an income. So maybe that's what he's talking about. He kind of split even. This is such a long cope. True.
Have a good radio voice. You have a good personality for stuff like that. You like interviewing people. You like video games, I guess. I would make content about that.
I'm not cutting. I'm cutting like some of my hair, but I'm dyeing it back. I'm dyeing it back to brown.
Stop talking about drama. I would start talking about video games and stuff like that. People used to watch it for that all the time. Just do that.
You know why I stopped talking about video games is because I love video games, and all of the news was so awful. Everything that was coming out. This company's full of rapists. This company's full of abusers.
I mean, I guess he's back to talking about it because he just uploaded that video. Why is this video 2 minutes and 40 seconds long? I mean, he's complaining about not making money, but this video had one ad on it at most. Fucking do better. That's such a simple thing you can change.
This company is full of microtransactions. They said this. Don't you guys have phones? Like watching Diablo crumble, or watching Blizzard crumble, watching Ubisoft crumble, watching Bethesda crumble, watching these titans of the industry that I loved crumble in front of me was so heartbreaking. It made me hate video games. I quit playing most games for a year, which is unheard of for me. Video games are my Netflix, right? I couldn't stand to do that news anymore because it was just so heartbreaking to me. Do you deal with that at all when it comes to like, is it wrong to call you a bit of a muckraker sometimes? Because that's the phrase I use to describe the commentary community. Like, yeah, sure. You look at human misery and you're like, let's prop up the human misery so everybody can stare.
Yeah, sure.
It's funny. I don't know. It's really funny.
That shit get to you personally at all? Is there periods of times where you're like, fuck, the world's a shithole and I hate it?
Yeah, but I think I don't really see a reflection of that in my personal life.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever felt that ever. Because like, at the end of the day, everything I see online, it isn't real. It doesn't affect me at all, right? I don't understand how people like care so much about the online because literally nothing's real. Like the fact that like Turkey Tom could be having a fucking awful day, but I've never met Turkey Tom and I never will probably meet Turkey Tom, right? Him having a bad day has no effect on my life. Andrew Tate has no effect on my life. None of like unless something directly affects my real life, I just like I don't care about it at all, right? I don't know. Maybe that makes me like a fucking psychopath.
So it doesn't bother me that much, you know.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah, I mean, like meaningless drama. You know, even like news stories though, where it's like actual misery, where like someone was fucking murdered or some shit. It's like that's not me. I don't know that person. Why would I care, right? It's I don't know.
One of the worst things that I deal with is that I'm a ridiculously sensitive person. I think it's partially like the abuse survival. But I think if I came into this world in the perfect scenario, I think I would probably be just a soft little bitch. If I'm being honest with you, like my testosterone levels have always been so low, and my estrogen levels have always been so high.
Why are you admitting this? Stop, dude. This guy, he drank the Bud Light and he ate the Chris Mr. Beast burger. That's how he got here. Oh fuck.
It's a miracle that I function as a person.
Testosterone.
I am. I went back on it again. That's what gave me the polycythemia vera. So we had to go off of it for a while. But now I'm back on like the topical gel version, and it doesn't work as good. But we had to get back on it for the fight, and it's getting better. It's getting better. I was able to build some muscle again. I actually can see an effect when I work out instead of just like feeling weak afterwards. Like I can actually see myself getting stronger and more mobile and stuff. So we're back on it. Why
would you admit that, bro? What the fuck? He needs HRT. Bro, if I ever admit online that I have high estrogen levels and low testosterone levels, like actually fucking ban me. Like report my account, mass flag me. That's fucking awful.
Since the topical stuff doesn't run the risk of giving you polycythemia vera, I'm mad that I wasn't always on it. I'm very mad that I have a blood disorder because of the injection one. But hey, I'm glad, at least I was able to function. Like when my doctor put me on the testosterone, Tom, he's like, well, your muscles can't repair without enough testosterone in your body. You need some testosterone. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't care about my muscles, man. I barely use them. He's like, Steve, your heart's a muscle. Like you're a huge candidate for a heart attack. Let's make sure that your heart functions. You have to do this. So I felt, we made the right decision at the time. I could have easily been dead of a stroke or heart attack by now if I had not gone on it. But also it sucks that I had got the rare side effect, but that shit happens. But well, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I got to say, is there any other things, any of these other more contentious things? I think we covered the stuff that I mostly wanted to talk about. I mostly wanted to talk about the abuse allegations because those aren't true, and that one bothers me. I did definitely want to talk about the swatting thing because I made my mistake there, and I'm glad to cop to it. I did definitely want to talk about the abuse allegations and why they hurt me so very much.
Dude, I am a psychopath. I feel like in my real life, I feel a lot of empathy for other people. Like, I don't know. Like, I have a lot of, like, even, like, people I fucking hate in real life. Like, I have some people, like, that I know. I have, like, friends and shit who, like, are actual, like, awful people. But I still, like, feel bad for them because I feel like they can't help it. But, like, online, it's just not real. I don't know. I've always had that mentality. Just listening even though you have no idea what's going on. That's based. Thank you.
I think I definitely give you a better understanding of the way my brain works and whether that's useful for you or not. I hope it's useful to somebody out there who can relate to it. And hopefully they can do better than I did with that information. Like, know that you're not alone and that I've done a few good things. If I can do a few good things, maybe you can too. But is there any other big ones? Any other things that you're interested in?
That probably wraps it up. Are you cool with me posting this, or do you just want to post it exclusively on the channel?
If it's okay, can I edit it and post it, and then you can post your version after? Give me a chance to get the most views, and then you can post the unedited version. I just want to do a professional version of it, put it up on iTunes, give everybody a chance to listen, and then you can follow it up. Is that something you're interested in?
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Yeah, that would be great, man. Absolutely. And God bless you.
You wonder what Boogie's diet consists of? He was drinking. I also have a Mountain Dew, but I'm a skinny boy. I only weigh 120, but I'm a skinny legend. No, but his diet, like, it's Mountain Dew, unironically. He was drinking it during this session.
Hey, man, thank you for taking the time to do this, man. And I hopefully we'll get some people watching. Hopefully people will get a better understanding of me. And Tom, I'll be honest with you. I know you're not a huge fan of me, and that's okay. But if you ever want to talk, you ever want to bullshit, you ever want to play a game, you ever want to get to actually know each other, I'd be down for that, man. Shit, if I can be friends with
Fortnite.
I've literally never played that shit. I saw the. You don't actually play Fortnite, do you?
I do.
Dude, that's so
Fortnite almost every
based.
day.
Actually, that's
That
so
shit's
funny.
so complicated to me. My brain can't keep up with that shit. Did you play Tears of the Kingdom yet? Or you do play those types of games?
I don't like Nintendo. No.
Yeah, that's more my style for sure. I cannot fucking build and shoot. I can barely shoot.
I play the no build one, so I play the shoot one only.
All right, that I might have to try. Is it real? Like, do people actually have Rick and Morty and shit in like a regular game?
It's real.
God, that sounds awful. I have a friend. I met her down at
That's awesome. No, but summary of the Boogie situation. He's kind of retarded. That's all I have to say, dude. And he just really needs to get it together. Okay. I mean, it's just there's steps he could be taking to get it together, but I mean, he just doesn't because he's like that.